last year. Okay? On three, time to go to work. Everybody's got their helmet on. We're ready to go. Get it, baby. Come on, 2, 3. Get to where you belong. PTS, pursuit tactics group. 1, 2, 3. PTS. I want a mentally tough football team. Let's go, fellas. We'll go fly around to the football and make plays, okay? Let's go, get there, get there, get there. Come on, we're not in shape yet. We will not lose a game in the fourth quarter, I promise you that. Hell yeah. It is yours. Take it. 1, 2, 3. Time to go to work. Woo!
Hi, and welcome to Westerville, Ohio, alongside Harrison Ralph. I'm Jordan Brown at Memorial Stadium as tailgaters get ready to head into Memorial Stadium to watch the Heidelberg Student Princes take on the Otterbein Cardinals today. Harrison, the two teams meeting today, this makes it the 23rd annual Rhine River Classic. What's the story and history behind the River Classic?
Well, let's take a look at what the Rhine River is, where it is. It is a 766-mile-long river in Europe. Begins in the southeastern Swiss Alps, runs through Germany, which is important. We'll get to that in a second, and empties into the Northern Sea in the Netherlands. Like I said, flows through Germany. The importance of that, in 1992, Otterbein and Heidelberg actually played a game over in Germany, and that game ended in a 7-7 tie.
Good evening,
so
ladies and gentlemen.
It's kind of an odd game, but it was a big step for both programs going overseas and playing a game over there. Great experience for all the players and coaches involved. That's why it's the Rhine River Classic.
So a lot of history in this game then, I can say.
Right, definitely.
When we come back, Harrison and I will preview the other team across the field, the Heidelberg Student Princes. Stay tuned.
Crushed Capital 73-17.
Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday with us. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours for fun with friends and family. No matter what time it is, there's always time at the Palace. The Palace is the perfect place to hold your birthday party or corporate employee groups. Call us today to make your reservation. 30 years old and better than new, with millions of dollars in renovations at the highest rated bowling center in Columbus, the Columbus Square Bowling Palace.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going? I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my
And
rules.
regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
David Kinder here with Harrison Ralph for Cardinal Kickoff. We hope you're enjoying OTV's broadcast of Otterbein College football. Remember, next week on Cardinal Kickoff, you can watch all the highlights from today's game, and we'll get you caught up on everything you need to know for next Saturday's game with Mount Union.
Make sure you stay with us here on Otterbein TV. Go Cards.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No?
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Matt Oren.
Welcome back to the Cardinal pregame show, brought to you by Columbus Square Bowling Palace. We mentioned earlier, obviously, the history between these two teams, Harrison. Talk a little bit about why Heidelberg is such a powerhouse, being a nationally ranked team consecutive years in a row.
Well, Heidelberg is extremely balanced on offense. They have great passing offense, great rushing offense. Michael Meese, the quarterback, junior, he controls the passing offense, and then Cartel Brooks, the top runner for this Student Prince's team. So it's really those two guys that run this offense. They have a great offensive line up front, but they're so very balanced, and Jordan, that's what makes them so tough. They average 63 points per game, and they have just been explosive all season. They average about 270 passing yards a game and 260 rushing yards a game. So like I said, they can do it all. They can pass, they can run, and it's tough for defenses to stop. It's proved to be that this year. We'll see what Otterbein can do tonight.
And you got a chance to catch up on Media Day with the head coach, Mike Hallett. Let's take a look at that now.
It's always fun for me to listen to the other coaches and get a chance to see the other players on a non-game day setting. You got Greaves and Seashoals. I don't like those guys much on Saturday when we play. They don't like me ever, but I don't like those guys a lot when we play. But all the rest of the time, I think they're great dudes, and so it's good to see those guys and have a chance to say hi and have that kind of relationship off the field that you want to be able to have with not just your own players, but guys across the league. I think that's really special.
You guys had a great season last year. You hosted a playoff game on your home field. What do you guys have to do to maintain that level of excellence and try to repeat and have that kind of a successful season?
Well, for us, it's always the process of just continually trying to reach our full potential. And there's times that we've played up to our potential. There's games that maybe we aren't at our potential, but we're able to win. We still, as a football team, were very young last year. We have an opportunity to grow up, take another step forward. But geez, old Pete, there's a huge bullseye on us. Everybody's shooting for us and shooting for Mountain, and somebody else is going to rise up and be a strong contender. I think Otterbein's, right on that cusp. There's a lot of great teams here. I think that if you get worried about all that stuff that might happen in week 11 and 12 and 13, you are going to get knocked off in week 3 or 5 or 7. We're going to get ready for that opening game, and then we'll deal with it after that. I think doing anything else is very short-sighted, and you set your team up for failure. All we care about is the game at hand.
Thanks for stopping by, and see you this season.
All right, thanks, Harrison.
Assistant coach Diana Knowles.
It's nice to see he has a sense of humor about Zachary's and Pat Sheschultz there a little bit. A fear on the field, but a friend off the field. Harrison, talk a little bit about the rivalries here between Heidelberg and Otterbein today. Heidelberg leading in almost every category and some first in the OAC. What is Otterbein going to have to do to prevent Heidelberg from being so successful out on the field today?
Well, I mentioned earlier the statistics for Heidelberg on offense. Like I said, averaging over 270 passing yards per game, and they do a great job running the football too, at about 262 rushing yards per game. Those two stats alone right there tell you exactly why Heidelberg is so successful. I talked to defensive coordinator Alan Moore just about 10 minutes ago. He told me, look, we're going to come out, we're going to play our defense, we're going to play our kind of football. We're not going to try to do anything tricky. We're not going to change anything up, but we're going to come out here, we're going to play straight up defense, our 4-3 defense, our main package, and we're going to fly around, we're going to hit guys and see what happens.
All right, now we'll toss up to our third member of the Otterbein TV crew today, up in the booth, to David.
Thanks, guys. Well, in just a few minutes, the 22nd annual Rhine River Rivalry will kick off behind me, and we'll get a chance to see how statistically the worst offense in the OAC will handle the best offense in the OAC. Heidelberg coming into this one, averaging 63 points a game, and for Otterbein, if they want to have a chance in this one, it's going to all hinge on if they can stop their standout junior running back, Cartel Brooks. Last year, first team all-conference, rushed for a $109 against the Cards last year, and that task just got a little bit more difficult when we realized that star defensive end Pat Seaschultz will be medically redshirted the rest of the year, so the Cards will have to go without him. Cartel Brooks with amazing breakaway speed, so if Otterbein wants to slow him down and have a chance in this game, they're going to need to penetrate their ends and make sure to stop him at the line of scrimmage so he can't break away for long runs. And offensively for the Cardinals, they need to make sure to give Ben Sizemore lots of protection. 4 sacks in the win against Muskingum last week. They'll be starting 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores on that very young offensive line, so Ben Sizemore has proven when he gets the chance, he can be a very effective quarterback. Still no interceptions all year, so we'll be sure to keep an eye on that, and if they can give him protection, we're going to throw it to a quick break now. When we come back, we'll have further analysis on the game, the starting lineups, and the kickoff here on OTV. Thanks for watching.
Still up? Can't sleep? Looking for something to do? Come to a place where the fun never sleeps. Columbus Square Bowling Palace. It's been the premier bowling destination in Central Ohio for 30 years. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours, no matter what time it is. There's always time at the Palace for fun with friends and family. Join the Night Out regulars at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, where the fun never sleeps.
A member of NCAA Division III, the OAC features outstanding educational programs in a small class setting, while offering competitive athletic opportunities in 23 sports. 10 private colleges and universities form the OAC, the nation's premier small athletic conference. Baldwin Wallace University, Capital University, Heidelberg University, John Carroll University, Marietta College, the University of Mount Union, Muskingum University, Ohio Northern University, Otterbein University, and Wilmington College. The Ohio Athletic Conference, where a proud history meets the promise of tomorrow.
Pinned out, mic'd up on the first day of practice from the season. Getting the heads back up
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and one person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Welcome back here in Westerville, Ohio. Again, alongside Harrison Ralph, I'm Jordan Brown, as we're here on the 23rd annual Rhine River Classic, brought to you by the Columbus Square Bowling Palace. Harrison, it's actually turned out to be a nice day in the sense that it hasn't rained, but everything but warm here today. Yes, Jordan, it's certainly cold, right? Temperatures upper 30s, low 40s. It's very chilly here tonight at Memorial Stadium, but that's what you get in fall, late October. That's what we get here in Westerville, Ohio. It's a lot of fun, great football weather, and I can't wait till the toe hits the leather. Absolutely. Now we're going to go and have a little preview here of the mic'd up edition with Coach Daup.
Day one, it's about time we're out here, right? Just like last year. Okay? On three, time to go to work. Everybody should have their helmet on. We're ready to go. You still have something to prove to the OAC, correct? All right? We got unfinished business. Everybody know where you're going. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Time to go to work. We'll run right into me. Twins right. My bad. My bad. I'm at slot right the whole time. I'm saying deuce and everything else. Where's my fullback? You're my option guy now. Got me? Hey, everybody. Stay with him, stay with him, stay with him, stay with him. Boom. 35 triple. Cosmo. Trips left.
Black 10. Black 10.
All right, probably a little farther. We got to work it. I want to make it easy for you so you know when you're tripling and when you're not.
You're here left, you go to the right.
Get that lactic acid out of your legs from this morning. You got to get it out of your body. We're going to run at some point. You don't know when. That is not happening. Not at all. Get to where you belong. Break it down and get where you belong. Here we go. On the fly. Okay, wrong foot. Up foot. Back foot. Up foot. Back foot. Nothing can come through this gap. Okay? Nothing. When you step, you just want to be able to hit that line and be right there. Okay?
I'm the ball. I'm the ball. Come on. Come on. Come on. Little things. Little things.
Nothing can come in here. We don't care about out here. This person cannot move that foot because the bend point is impossible for somebody to come off this edge, to come off this foot, bend, and block a kick. There's no way that should happen. Okay?
Okay.
The reason we're going to do that and be on you, that shows us that you know what the hell's going on. Okay?
Shorten your base if you have to. You don't want to lose your power. Nothing comes inside.
Let's go, dog it in.
And that just a little preview into the full feature that you can catch here on Otterbein TV during the halftime show. As Harrison heads up to the booth, when we come back, I'll be sitting with Athletic Director Don Stewart. Stay tuned.
Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday with us. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours for fun with friends and family. No matter what time it is, there's always time at the Palace. The Palace is the perfect place to hold your birthday party or corporate employee groups. Call us today to make your reservation. 30 years old and better than new, with millions of dollars in renovations at the highest rated bowling center in Columbus, the Columbus Square Bowling Palace.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
When I was 16, I was in a bad car accident, and the doctors told me I would never stand again. Somehow, I knew I would. Progress has been slow, but family, friends, and strangers all started to pray for me. Whether you need support in a tragedy or just to make it through a bad day, prayer can make a difference. America, let's come together by believing with each other. For someone to come alongside you and say, I'm going to believe with you, it means a lot.
I remember the moment clearly.
I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
I realized at that moment, when we first saw the damage, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community. Together with local responders, we cleared trees and collapsed walls. We had to get to the family trapped beneath. As a citizen soldier, I made a difference.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday with us. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours for fun with friends and family. No matter what time it is, there's always time at the Palace. The Palace is the perfect place to hold your birthday party or corporate employee groups. Call us today to make your reservation. 30 years old and better than new, with millions of dollars in renovations at the highest rated bowling center in Columbus, the Columbus Square Bowling Palace.
Welcome back to Westerville, Ohio, again at the Memorial Stadium. I'm here with Athletic Director Don Stewart as tailgaters head on in, as we're just minutes away from the game of the Heidelberg Student Princes as they take on the Otterbein Cardinals. Now, Don, we are expecting a lot of changes in the next couple of years here to Otterbein's athletic facilities, one of them being the turf field. How is that process going, and what should we expect in the future?
Well, we're actually very excited about this process. We just as a committee met this week to start talking about selecting companies that are going to install the turf in our new track system, and started discussing the timeline. So we're excited that we're looking to break ground next spring and really get things moving.
Absolutely, we look forward to that. As well as these changes, we also just added a Hall of Champions in the Reich and Clements Center. Talk a little bit about what that was like putting that together.
Well, what a fantastic project and fun project. The Hall of Champions is really about recognizing our tradition and our alumni and the contributions that they've made to Otterbein throughout the years. And so as we put that together, of course, a lot of thought went into who should be on the wall mural, who should be captured in the screens, and really, as it all came together, what's best about that project is that it literally captures any student athlete that ever competed at Otterbein. So it's a pretty special piece.
Absolutely. It sounds like it was a great time. Well, we thank you for joining us today. When we come back, we will have Harrison and David up in the booth as we get the game underway. Thank you for joining us for the pregame show brought to you by Columbus Square Bowling Palace. I'm Jordan Brown. Stay tuned for more on Otterbein TV.
Still up? Can't sleep? Looking for something to do? Come to a place where the fun never sleeps. Columbus Square Bowling Palace. It's been the premier bowling destination in Central Ohio for 30 years. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours, no matter what time it is. There's always time at the Palace for fun with friends and family. Join the Night Owl regulars at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, where the fun never sleeps.
Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org.
Where do you think you're going?
Is your body holding you back?
I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not. I'm fine.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong.
This is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The Action Team.
Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
Help support the Breast Cancer Patient Education Act, a bill that will help make sure women facing a mastectomy are told all their options about breast reconstruction. Visit broaddayusa.org for more information.
When doctors told me I would never walk again, somehow I knew I would. Whether you need support in a tragedy or just to make it through a bad day, prayer can make a difference. America, let's come together by believing with each other.
I realized at that moment, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
Just like last year, okay? On three, time to go to work. Everybody's got their helmet on. We're ready to go. Get it, baby. Fly around to the football and make plays, okay? Let's go, get there, get there, get there! Game in the fourth quarter, I promise you that. Oh, yeah. It is yours.
5 minutes up on the scoreboard. In a few minutes, Otterbein will take on the Student Princes from Heidelberg, playing for that Rhine River Cup. Harrison, welcome up to the press box after just doing the pregame show.
It's a lot nicer, a lot warmer up here, David. I got to tell you that. It was very cold down there, and I want to, before we even begin, give props to those our camera people working outside. It's very chilly here tonight at Memorial Stadium.
Very frigid October night. The thermometer reads 47 degrees outside, and that might be a conservative estimate. Well, as we mentioned in the pregame show, and we've talked about all week, if Otterbein wants to have a chance against this Heidelberg team, they're ranked as the top offense in the OAC, averaging 63 points a game. It all starts and ends with stopping Cartel Brooks up the front. They're a very balanced team, have a very good quarterback as well, but if they want to win, they have to stop Brooks. How are they going to be able to do it, especially since they're out one of their best defensive linemen? We heard today Pat Seaschultz will medically redshirt and miss the rest of this season. How are they going to do it, Harrison?
Well, I asked defensive coordinator Alan Moore the exact same question, and what he told me is last year he what they did against Heidelberg, what they tried to do, I guess, is they tried to run some checks. They tried to set up in different formations before the snap, and then right before the snap, get into their standard base defense and trying to mix up the looks for the quarterback, Michael Meese. Well, this year, Coach Moore said, look, we're going to come out and we're just going to play Otterbein football. We're going to come out straight up, 4-3 defense, nothing special, nothing tricky. We're not going to try to confuse anybody. We're going to come out and show them what we have, and we're going to play our game. We'll see if that works tonight.
We've seen almost every week a different offensive formation that this Otterbein team has started the game out. A few weeks ago, they started with that straightaway offset I. Then we saw the straight I formation. We've also seen the pistol. We've seen exclusively out of the spread and the shotgun. What do you expect to see, and what do you think will work best tonight against the Student Prince's defense, which is one of the best defenses in the OAC as well?
Well, you know, it comes down to whatever formation they use, they have to win the time of possession. You have to keep that high-powered offense of Heidelberg on the sideline as much as you can. So that means run the football successfully, whether that's out of the I formation or you spread it out. Whichever one works, that's what we need to go with. Also, you look at Ben Sizemore, he's going to have to play a great game. The offensive line a little banged up, but they're going to have to come through big and play very well to protect Sizemore and let him throw to his wide receivers down the football field.
A very young offensive line, too. Right. 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior getting the start for the front 5. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups for both teams, and we'll have the opening kickoff for this rivalry classic, so keep it locked to OTV. We'll be right back.
Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday with us. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours for fun with friends and family. No matter what time it is, there's always time at the Palace. The Palace is the perfect place to hold your birthday party or corporate employee groups. Call us today to make your reservation. 30 years old and better than new, with millions of dollars in renovations at the highest rated bowling center in Columbus, the Columbus Square Bowling Palace.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going?
I want to go running.
Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my rules.
And regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
David Kinder here with Harrison Ralph for Cardinal Kickoff. We hope you're enjoying OTV's broadcast of Otterbein College football. Remember, next week on Cardinal Kickoff, you can watch all the highlights from today's game, and we'll get you caught up on everything you need to know for next Saturday's game with Mount Union.
Make sure you stay with us here on Otterbein TV. Go Cards.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back deep for the Cardinals.
Back at Memorial Stadium, coming at you, David Kinder, joined with Harrison Ralph in the press box. The ball is on the tee, and it looks as though the Student Princes, who come from Tiffin, Ohio, will be kicking off to the Cardinals. Back deep to return for your Cardinals is number 4, Stephen Carpenter, the senior wide receiver. On 10 kickoff returns this year, he's averaging 18.2 yards a return.
Stephen Carpenter, one of the biggest playmakers for Otterbein. He's going to have a big night, big productive night if Otterbein's going to stay in this thing against the high-powered offense of Heidelberg.
Dan Kilger puts his toe to the ball, and we are underway. Carpenter makes the catch at the 5-yard line. He's going to bring it close to the near sideline, gets past one tackler, and he is drugged out of bounds near the 30-yard line, and that is where Ben Sizemore will lead his troops out onto the field, and Otterbein will try to pick up their 4th win of the season.
Heidelberg 12th ranked, definitely one of the top teams in the nation. They have that ranking to prove so. But they really haven't played great teams yet, David. They haven't played a Mount Union. They haven't played a John Carroll. So this is a team that I don't want to say is unproven because they've destroyed everyone they've played. But at the same time, they haven't played really a quality team yet here in 2013.
Otterbein averaging 12 points a game, 101 rushing yards, and 165 passing yards a game. Sizemore in the shotgun. Derek Rudolph is going to get it on a screen pass. He catches it at the 15-yard line, takes it across the 35-yard line. So we saw Rudolph start in the backfield, and he motions out as a receiver, and he's able to pick up about 5 yards there on the screen pass from the senior gunslinger, Ben Sizemore.
And those, I think we're going to see a lot of those passes here tonight, David, as you know, it can almost act as a running play. When you quick screen out there, you have a couple blockers in front of the ball carrier, and you keep the clock running. And that's what I said in the pregame. They need to hang on to the ball, control time of possession, and keep Heidelberg on the sideline.
Here comes that I formation we talked about. Chester Deaton at fullback, Drew Irvin the deep man. Irvin will get the carry. Irvin straight ahead, and he has the first down for the Cardinals, and he's gang tackled by a wall of Heidelberg defenders. So the Eastmore grad, Derek Rudolph checks out, and Drew Irvin comes in and he moves the chains for the Cardinals.
Well, Drew Irvin, the 6 foot, 230-pound back for the Otterbein Cardinals, just a bowling ball, just a massive human, and he clearly right there shows how he's been so successful this season and really in his whole career. Just a great runner, can really carry guys and break a lot of tackles.
The sophomore comes in as the team's leading rusher this year with 328 yards. 235 of them against Bolden Wallace. He gets it again on a counter, and he's going nowhere, and he's dropped in the backfield for a 1-yard loss that time.
Heidelberg has a very strong defense, very fast. They move well sideline to sideline. It's going to be tough to run outside, as you saw there. It's going to be difficult to run outside the tackle box against this Heidelberg defense.
Coming into this one, the Student Princes giving up on defense 16 points a game, allowing 149 rushing yards and 186 passing yards. As you mentioned, Harrison, in a first-way tie with Mount Union and John Carroll for first place in the OAC, and have the 12th national ranking among Division III college football teams. So Otterbein will come back out in the spread formation now. Ben Sizemore in the shotgun, all by himself. He takes the snap, back to pass, pump fakes, throws, and it's complete to Steve Carpenter, and Carpenter's able to keep his bounds, but they say he was out of bounds, and it appears he will be about a yard shy of the first down marker, so it will bring up 3rd down and 1 for the Cardinals. And Harrison, on Cardinal kickoff, when we were analyzing this game, one of your keys to victory for Otterbein was converting 3rd downs. You mentioned they're dreadful at it this year, only averaging 28% on converting 3rd downs. If they want to win today, that's something they have to do.
Especially, David, when you have a 3rd and short like this. 3rd down and 1, keep the drive alive, move the chains, get deeper into Heidelberg territory, and see if you can punch it in for an early score.
They will go with the little running back, Derek Rudolph, who stands to the right of Ben Sizemore. 3 receivers to the near sideline. They're going to fake the give to Rudolph, and Sizemore's going to keep it himself. He's able to slip, but he picks up the first down. So not a lot of yards there, but it's exactly what they needed. They're able to fake it on the read option. Sizemore calls his own number, and he moves the chains for the Cardinals. 2nd first down on the drive.
Ben Sizemore is a senior, and he showed that he has a great deal of poise back there in the pocket right there. 3rd and 1, you got to get 1 yard. Looks over to the right. The screen pass, the initial play, it's not there. It's not open. The wide receiver was covered, so what does he do? He doesn't panic. He doesn't try to force it. He takes off with it himself and picks up a first down. Great job by the senior leader, number 9, Ben Sizemore.
Last week, 2 passing touchdowns in the 12-10 victory over Muskingum, and 205 yards for the senior Sizemore. This time from the I formation. They give to Irvin. He's able to break 1 tackle, keeps his legs turning, and he runs into a pile for about a 4-yard gain there. We mentioned last week, very sloppy game for the Cardinals. Only 2 touchdowns against a below-average Muskingum team. They missed both of the extra points, got the victory down in New Concord, Ohio, 12-10, but it was far from pretty. Only 50 rushing yards in the game, coming off that impressive performance to Bolden Wallace, where they ran for 260.
Carpenter in the slot on the near side.
3 receivers set. Sizemore in the shotgun. 3 down linemen for the Student Princes. They're going to run the option. Sizemore is going to keep it himself. He's hit hard and thrown down to the ground for a minimal gain there. Good to see Sizemore popping up quickly after being hammered by the linebackers.
Andy Kajawa combines on the defense.
So far early in the drive, as we see Chester Deaton will rush over to the sideline. He'll check out. We've seen all the formations we mentioned in the pregame show, Harrison. We've seen the I formation. We've seen the spread. We've seen the pistol. We've seen them all here out of Coach Daup, and he's trying anything and everything to score early against this Berg defense.
And that's so important. Score early, set the tone, let them know that you are here to play.
Derek Rudolph, we've seen a revolving door at running back so far in this game. He's going to block for Sizemore, who has it completed to Steve Carpenter. Carpenter out to the 25-yard line. He has another first down, moving the chains as he steps out of bounds. The clock stopped at 10:14 here, and Otterbein is having a great first possession of this game, Harrison.
Yeah, they really are, and Ben Sizemore has done a great job delivering the ball where he needs to go. But Stephen Carpenter, you can't say enough about him. He knows he has to come up with a big game here tonight, and so far he's doing just that. Heavily involved already in the offense, and just doing a great job. Great playmaker, the senior Stephen Carpenter for the Otterbein Cardinals.
Carpenter came into this one 22 receptions on the year, 320 yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns, the leader in all statistical receiving categories. Rudolph is going to motion out of the backfield. Sizemore looking to throw. He's got it to Rudolph on a screen. A great block from Frenzel. He takes it across the 20-yard line, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 19, so he picks up a good block from his receiver, Bryce Frenzel. He's able to pick up some positive yardage there on a first down.
Yeah, good job there by Rudolph. He's such a shifty, elusive back. If you can get some blockers out in front of him, he is a nightmare for a defense.
So that'll bring up second down, 4 yards to convert. Ball on the 19-yard line, clock winding. 9 minutes, 23 seconds in the first quarter here from Memorial Stadium. Coming out in the I formation, Chester Deaton, the fullback. Irvin, the deep man, the give to Irvin. Irvin has some room to run. He's at the 10-yard line, lowers his shoulder pads, and he falls down at the 5-yard line. And that is what Drew Irvin brings to this offense for the Cardinals, Harrison. He does not stop running. He keeps his legs going. He just lowers his shoulder pads. And you mentioned he's a wrecking ball. He'll knock guys over. He'll leave some bruises on you. And he carries it down to the 5-yard line. The 4th first down on this drive for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and that was Tyler Lewandowski right there trying to make the tackle. And we saw, as we talked about earlier, Drew Irvin just absolutely steamrolled him and kept his legs churning. Great run right there by Drew Irvin, and shows the Heidelberg defense what they're in store for here tonight.
The same exact formation from the I. Ball on the 5-yard line. They're going to give it to Irvin, and this time he's met immediately in the backfield. No gain that time.
Well, you had a linebacker blitz there, and the second level of the Heidelberg defense came storming right up the middle, which happened to be right where the Cardinals were attempting to run the football, and there you go, no gain.
We see substitutions in the game. They're going to change it up at running back as Rudolph will check in, as will receiver Bryce Frenzel. So second down, ball on the 5-yard line. The clock winding, 8:14 on the scoreboard in the south end zone at Memorial Stadium. Sizemore in the shotgun, Rudolph, standing to his left. He's going to roll out far sideline, looking to throw. He's under pressure. He's going to try to pick up some yardage, and the ball came loose, but it looks like he was able to fall on it. Luckily for him, he's able to fall on it, and it looks like they gained about 2 yards on the play as well. So Otterbein very fortunate that time to keep possession of the ball.
Yeah, when you get down here in the red zone against this Heidelberg team, you've got to score touchdowns. Obviously can't turn the ball over. You can't settle for field goals. You got to put the ball in the end zone, because Heidelberg certainly will get their share of points here tonight.
Otterbein very effective in the turnover margin this year. +6 coming into this one. Of course, no Otterbein quarterback has thrown an interception all year as well. So spread formation, 5 receivers on the field for Sizemore. In the shotgun. Takes the snap. Quickly looking to throw, and he's hit hard, and he's drugged down at the 10-yard line. No time to throw. Sizemore, as soon as he took his steps, was hit hard. And that will bring up a 4th down. And it looks like we will have a field goal attempt. And for the Cardinals, special teams has been a huge problem this year. 1 of 3 on field goals this year. Nick Gaines missed a pair. John Carroll. Alana Gaither will be called upon to kick this one, the Akron Firestone graduate. She is 1 of 1 on the year. She converted a 20-yarder against Wilmington. This one, the ball is spotted on the 10-yard line. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up from Gaither, and it is good. Alana Gaither converts it. Ball on the 10-yard line. She has her second field goal of the year, and she gives Otterbein a 3-0 lead over the 12th-ranked team in the nation.
Great job by Alana Gaither right there, stepping in, hitting a clutch field goal. Otterbein had to have that one after a long, methodical, productive drive. They needed points at the end of that drive, and that's exactly what Alana Gaither delivered for the Cardinals. Great start for the Cardinals. Would have been nice to get a touchdown, but productive drive, solid drive. As I said, they took a lot of time off the clock, David, and that's going to be so important as we continue along in this game because this offense we're about to see from Heidelberg is explosive. We said that over and over again. Now we're going to get a chance to see if the Otterbein Cardinals have any answers for Michael Meese, Cartel Brooks, and company on this Heidelberg offense.
That's good to see that special teams unit has much improved for the Cardinals, too, after missing a pair of extra points last week. That drive for the Cardinals went 59 yards, took 6 minutes and 37 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, and like I said, that's so important, especially as we continue in the game to keep the Otterbein defense on the sideline and give them a chance to rest and maybe even warm up there on the sidelines.
Jordan Boniface is going to be kicking off for the Cardinals, replacing Nick Gaines as the kickoff specialist. It is fielded at the 15-yard line, and look out, they have some explosive returners. And he's wrapped up and brought down by 3 or 4 Cardinals there at the 32-yard line. But Nick Gaines has been replaced as the kickoff specialist for the Cardinals. We asked Coach Daup why, and he said simply his strong safety can boot it deeper than Gaines can. So that he will have the kicking duties, and he will stay out on the field, of course, as the safety for the Cardinals. And here come the 12th-ranked Student Princes of Heidelberg.
For the Cardinals.
This is unfamiliar territory for them. They don't trail too often in games, Harrison. As we mentioned, averaging 63 points per game. They are an explosive outfit. In the pistol formation is Michael Meese, the North Ridgeville graduate. He's going to give off to Cartel Brooks. Brooks has some room to run around the right end, and he's tackled for about a 2-yard gain there.
Number 8, Cartel Brooks on the carry.
So we mentioned Cartel Brooks comes into this one. 63 totes on the year, 586 yards, and 11 rushing touchdowns. Harrison, he's averaging 9.3 yards a carry.
Yeah, he is a sensational talent, and he is extremely valuable on this Heidelberg offense.
Meese looking to throw. He has it complete, and a big tackle there right across the 50-yard line. And both players a little slow to get up after that one. It will move the chains for a first down.
Complete to number 85, Derek Hugg.
It's a nice tackle by Jalen Kennedy, but Meese was able to find a soft spot in the zone and found his target. First down, Heidelberg.
Hurry up offense for the Student Princes, wasting no time. Meese back in the pistol formation. Cartel Brooks standing behind him. The give is to Brooks, and he loses some footing there. He's able to keep his balance, though, and brought down by a trio of Cardinal defenders, and looked like there might have been a late push in the back on Jordan Boniface there, not called. And no huddle again. Go the Student Princes quickly to the offensive line. Michael Meese, 1,163 passing yards on the year, 17 passing touchdowns in just 5 games, Harrison. 2 interceptions for the North Ridgeville graduate. Same formation we've seen out of him. Back to pass, looking, throwing, and it looked like it might have got tipped a little at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete pass. It will bring up a third down for the Student Princes.
The defensive line, David, is such a crucial part of any defense, but you look at Otterbein and you look at last season. The productivity that they had out of the defensive line with C. Schultz and Greaves, they're not getting that this year. Just 4 sacks this whole season. Zach Greaves, 0 on the year so far. Here in 2013.
We'll have a whistle on the field, and it looks like we're getting an official signal on what is going on the field. Maybe a sideline warning, it looked like, perhaps, Harrison. They issued a sideline warning to the Student Princes. It will bring up third down, 6 yards to convert. Ball on the 45. Meese back to pass, looking to throw. He has it complete, and he has a first down. It looks like he got it that time to Cartel Brooks as running back is the one who caught it.
Complete to number 11, Dante Dye.
Excuse me, that's Dante Dye, the leading receiver for the Student Princes. 428 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns on the year for the junior number 11 Dye.
6-yard line, 1st and 10.
Ball on the 36, 1st and 10 for the Student Princes. They give to Brooks. Brooks straight up the middle. He has some room to run. He runs into his own blocker. He's at the 10, 5, and his 12th rushing touchdown of the season for Cartel Brooks, 36 yards out. And that is what you have to stop if you want to win this one. Cannot allow long rushes like that. He ran into his own blocker, and he's still able to go in for the touchdown.
He's so slippery. I mean, he's just so elusive. He's able to find little crevices that a lot of backs will not be able to find. And he, right there, I mean, just shows how great of a playmaker Cartel Brooks is, and shows why this Heidelberg team is so explosive offensively, and for the reason that they have that very high ranking, number 12 in the nation.
Dan Kilger, 33 of 36 on extra points this year, and you can make that 34 of 37 as he splits the uprights. And quickly, Heidelberg has regained the lead in this one, 7-3 over Otterbein, 4:40 to play in the first quarter after a very quick Heidelberg drive.
And I don't think there's a whole lot there to be too discouraged about for the Otterbein defense. Yes, they allowed a quick score. However, the things that I saw, at least from my vantage point, David, it looked like they just missed some tackles. They missed a few tackles here and there, and that gave Heidelberg and Cartel Brooks a lot of extra yards, and that final run there, the touchdown run, was another example of that. But those are things you can fix. You know, it's not, they're not getting, blown off the ball. They're not getting, blocked perfectly. They're not on their backs every play. They're just missing tackles, and that's fixable. That they can improve upon that, and that's what we certainly hope for here as the Otterbein Cardinals look to answer here with the ball, and Sizemore will come out on offense.
That drive went 6 plays, 67 yards, and used 1 minute and 50 of the clock, and gives the Student Princes the lead. Kilger puts his toe into this one, and it will be fielded at the goal line. He's going to bring it out across the 10-yard line, and now he has an opening at the 30, and he's finally drugged down 35-yard line, the most explosive return we've seen all year out of the Cardinal. And that's where Ben Sizemore will come out and try to put it into the end zone this time. Last Otterbein drive ended with an Alana Gaither field goal from 10 yards out, and that's how we are where we are now, 7-3.
Ball is spotted at the 35-yard line. First and 10.
You look at the clock, 4.5 minutes. It'd be nice, David. Ideally, I think Coach Daup would love to see his offense come out here, run the clock out here in the first quarter, and then put the ball in the end zone like you just mentioned, maybe to start the second quarter. But you definitely want to run off some time and give your defense a chance to kind of figure out what went wrong in that last drive and make sure that they fix it when they come out the next time.
Watch out for the screen pass. We've seen it already. He pump fakes to him. Now he's under pressure. He's going to try to scramble out of it, and he is unable to, and we see Sizemore go down for the second time today. After the pump fake, we see Rudolph go out as a receiver. We've seen that play twice today where they get it to him on a screen route. He didn't like it that time, pump faked, and he's running for his life again and sacked. He'll go down as a 1-yard loss.
I really like that play call, David. I really like that. As you mentioned, we've seen that a couple times already tonight where they go out to Rudolph on the screen. This time, quick little shoulder shimmy, little pump fake by Ben Sizemore, and Carpenter was streaking down the middle of the field deep. However, there was not quite enough protection. Ben Sizemore didn't have the time to let that route develop, and leads to 2nd and 11.
First time we've seen this a while. Drew Irvin and Derek Rudolph both in the game. Irvin as a wing. He's going to go out for a pass as Sizemore's looking to pass. And again, Ben Sizemore sacked on consecutive plays. Will bring up a 3rd down and long for the Cardinals. The offensive line not doing what they need to do so far. Harrison can't hold for enough time for him to step up in the pocket and find a receiver downfield.
No, that's been a problem all year, and something that Coach Daup and the rest of the coaching staff has tried to fix. They have, but they've had a couple injuries here and there across the line, on which was already a very young, inexperienced offensive line, and you're kind of seeing the trials and tribulations of a young player getting their first playing time in college football.
Spread formation, 5 receivers, and Sizemore doesn't like what he sees out of the defense. He's going to call a timeout and head over to the sidelines to discuss things with head coach Tim Daup. Doesn't look like Tim Daup was too happy on the sidelines either about what he saw Otterbein coming out in the spread formation. They have a 3rd down and long to convert if they want to continue this drive. Harrison, what do we need to see differently out of them other than the obvious offensive line protection?
Well, I mean, I think more of the same. I mean, we've seen a very, very small sample size. Obviously, just one drive, one possession for the Cardinals thus far. But what they did on that first drive was I think, exactly what they need to do to win. To even stay in the game, they need to take time off the clock, which they did on the first drive, and they need to obviously pick up yards and move the change to do so. I think Ben Sizemore has shown that he's on tonight. He's made a couple very good throws, put the ball right where it needs to be, and allowed his receivers to pick up some yards after the catch. And that's what happens when you have an accurate passer. Your wide receivers are allowed to catch the ball in stride and kind of look upfield and look to pick up some yards after the catch. And I think that's obviously what they need to do to continue their success.
These two teams have a very long history. This is the 77th meeting between them. The first time they ever met on the gridiron back in 1900. A 0-0 tie. I believe me and Harrison were covering that game for OTV. Sizemore in the shotgun, joined by Derek Rudolph. Three-step drop, feeling the pressure again. He eludes one, and he can't elude the other. 3 consecutive sacks for the Student Prince's defense. Sizemore is trying to scramble away to the far sideline for that one, and he cannot, so we'll bring up a 4th down, and we'll send the punt unit onto the field for the first time tonight.
And that's not so much on the offensive line. I mean, they did a pretty good job. Sizemore had plenty of time back there to find a receiver. Bryce Frenzel looked pretty open over the middle of the field, and he seems very frustrated as he goes off to the sideline, but that's more Ben Sizemore not being able to find a receiver and not getting rid of the football and just throwing it away. But a big loss on the play, and Otterbein will punt from deep in their own territory.
Watch out for Ryan Fisher, the return man, averaging 31.5 yards, a kick, and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Keaton just barely gets that one off. Fisher is going to call it off.
Tipped.
That one hopefully was tipped because it rolls just short of the 40-yard line. We've seen a revolving door of punters this year. Jordan Keaton averaging 37 yards a kick. That one did not go 37 yards. I'm sure Coach Daup was telling him to kick away from Ryan Fisher, the explosive sophomore. 2 punt returns for touchdowns already this year, but that is not what they had in mind.
No, I mean, well, they didn't punt it past the first down marker. I mean, that's never good.
No. So Heidelberg quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Great field position, ball on the 40-yard line. Coming out in a pistol backfield. And the Otterbein defense wants a jump there. They're going to throw flags early.
The left guard right there.
Good ball.
Austin Hunter.
65 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
The junior left guard, Austin Hunter, guilty of the infraction that time, and they'll back him up 5 more yards. And here comes Otterbein showing blitz from their middle backers. Meese back to pass. Looking. There's some pressure on him as he's rolling out to the far sideline. He has it almost completed. Looking for his fullback that time. Goes in and out of his hands. And I don't know if you saw, it looked like Wes McKeon was held at the bottom of the screen to me, Harrison, the blitzing linebacker.
It did. Well, and he got a late start. He slipped on the play and then got held. So, yeah, I'm not sure why we don't see a yellow flag on the field. But either way, Cardinals fortunate that the fullback has some stone hands, because if not, that would have been a big gain and most likely a first down for Heidelberg.
Otterbein got great pressure last week on Cody Williams in the Muskingum game. They're going to give it to Cartel Brooks on the rollout. Brooks carries it back to the original line of scrimmage. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and about 9 or 10 yards to go for the Student Princes. Otterbein had 2 sacks. Pat Coleman had both the sacks for Otterbein last week. Eric Mitchell had a few tackle for losses as well. The defense was superlative last week against Muskingum.
Otterbein, like I said, only 4 sacks so far this season. Pat Coleman came with 2 of them last week against Muskingum.
Meese from the shotgun, looking to pass. He throws it out of bounds as the pressure was coming heavy that time, and he had to get it away quickly.
A nice job there, Tyler Green, putting some pressure on Meese and forcing an errant throw. 4th down now for Heidelberg, and the Otterbein defense has come up with a big stop here. And it looks like they'll be getting the ball back.
Tyler Green, a name we have not called a lot this year. I imagine we'll see some new faces on that defensive front with Pat Seaschultz medically redshirting. So the punt team will go out on the field. Steven Smith, the punter for the Student Princes. Only 10 punts all year for him. Harrison, he's averaging 40 yards a kick with a long of 48. Connor Lucas standing on the 10-yard line awaiting this one. A line drive kick. Lucas calls for fair catch, but he'll let it roll, and it will go into the end zone for a touchback. And Otterbein will take it out to the 20-yard line and try a little more effectively to protect their senior quarterback this year, who was sacked on 3 consecutive plays to force a Cardinal punt the last time they had the football.
What an outstanding job right there by defensive coordinator Alan Moore and his players, doing a great job stopping Heidelberg. You know, they come out and they drive the ball all the way down the field for a quick touchdown. You quickly go 3 and out, give them the ball back at your own 40-yard line, and they come out and they stop them 3 and out. Great job by the defense. That's something that the defense here, the Cardinals defense, can really build on and work on the rest of the game. That's a sensational job. Very important for the Cardinals to get that stop.
So far this year, Heidelberg has scored 117 points in the first quarter, Harrison. And it looks like Otterbein might limit them just to 7 in this one, as we see Drew Irvin carrying around the left end and picks up about 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, I mean, not only is Heidelberg a tremendous offense, but they do it very quickly. You know, they can score in a snap of fingers, and that's really what they've done all season. They've gotten out right out of the gates and just absolutely destroyed their opponent. And like you said, that high difference between points gained and points allowed in the first quarter of this season is a great example of that.
Sizemore in the shotgun. So we see the backers of the Student Princes showing blitz. The give to Rudolph. Rudolph is able to shake and dance, gets out of 1 tackle, and he picks up a modest 2 yards that time on the direct give up the middle. Sizemore was 9 of 19 last year in this contest, 107 passing yards. He replaced injured Aaron Kincaid, and if you remember, that was the last time we ever saw Kincaid at quarterback for the Cardinals last year. Also sacked 3 times in that one, Harrison, so he's already matched that total in this game that he had last year in the first quarter. And speaking of first quarters, ours has come to an end as the scoreboard in the south end zone reads 0, so we will switch sides of the field. We'll take a quick break here on OTV. When we come back, we will have second quarter action, and we will have Otterbein with the ball facing a huge 3rd down. So stay tuned to OTV. We'll be right back.
A member of NCAA Division III, the OAC features outstanding educational programs in a small class setting, while offering competitive athletic opportunities in 23 sports. 10 private colleges and universities form the OAC, the nation's premier small athletic conference. Baldwin Wallace University, Capital University, Heidelberg University, John Carroll University, Marietta College, the University of Mount Union, Muskingum University, Ohio Northern University, Otterbein University, and Wilmington College. The Ohio Athletic Conference, where a proud history meets the promise of tomorrow.
Huge 3rd down for the Cardinals here. Ben Sizemore in shotgun with Derek Rudolph standing with him. 3rd down, 4 yards to convert. Sizemore looking to throw. He has it to Frenzel, and Frenzel has the 1st down. He breaks 1 tackle. He's across the 50-yard line to the 40. 1 man to beat for Bryce Frenzel. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Otterbein! They take the lead here in the Rhine River rivalry.
Great job right there. Bryce Frenzel was frustrated after that last drive, felt he was open. This time his quarterback comes back to him, finds Bryce Frenzel over the middle, and number 2 carries it the rest of the way. Great run after the catch, and the Cardinals take the lead here in the early in the second quarter.
Can't ask for a better start to the second quarter than that, Harrison. An unbelievable pass and a better catch and run as he's able to break 1 tackler. We see Alana Gaither heads out on the field to attempt the point after touchdown. This has been a very shaky area for the Cardinals, but this one is...
Just get in there.
Barely good. It squeaks over the crossbar, so they end their streak of missing 3 straight extra points. And Otterbein has the 10-7 lead over the 12th-ranked Heidelberg Student Princes. What a pass, what a catch, what a run, Harrison.
And David, you don't see that too often. The old boyfriend-girlfriend combo on the touchdown and the point after. Bryce Frenzel and Alana Gaither putting the points on the board for the Cardinals. Pretty rare in football.
Yeah, it's something you don't see very often, not a very co-ed sport usually. However, I think they'll take it. That drive, 3 plays, 80 yards, and 1:20 off the clock for the Cardinals. Officially a 47-yard passing touchdown to Bryce Frenzel. Last year against the Student Princes, Frenzel was the leading receiver for the Cardinals with 5 receptions for 51 yards. He has more than that already in 1 reception, and it gives Otterbein the lead 10-7 here. It took 13 seconds off the clock, did that passing touchdown. And you can look down on that sideline, Harrison. They are fired up there, are the Cannon Cardinal.
Oh, it certainly should be. I mean, the defense comes up with a huge stand, and the offense comes up with a huge play. I mean, this is 2 great series right there for the defense and then the offense for the Cardinals. Great. It's good to see because, honestly, Otterbein has come out and it hasn't looked very good early in games this season. They've done the exact opposite here in this one.
Boniface sends it away, and it's caught at the 10-yard line. He has some room to run, and Jordan Boniface comes up with the tackle on that one, actually lowering his shoulder pads and brings him down around the 34-yard line. And that's where Michael Meese will come out and try to respond with his counterpart, Ben Sizemore's amazing pass to give the Cardinals the lead.
We see a great job right there. I mean, that's another benefit of having Jordan Boniface kicking off is that he's a safety. He can come up and make a tackle on the return, and it's good that he could do that right there because he was obviously the last line of defense, as the kicker always is.
Meese in shotgun with Brooks. They fakes it to Brooks actually. Now he's looking to throw, and he throws it behind his intended receiver. Again, that time he was looking for number 11, Dye, the junior receiver, but threw it behind him.
Great job, Will Brett, getting into the backfield, staying home on the play fake, and was able to get in the face of Meese and actually get a good hit on him, and forced Meese to make an inaccurate throw, incomplete pass, 2nd and 10.
Meese again from the shotgun. Otterbein coming with the blitz. The gives to Brooks. Brooks has some room to run as he bounces it to the outside, and he's tackled there for close to a first down. Alex Cameron, the cornerback, coming up with the tackle.
Seems like every time Cartel Brooks carried the football, we're saying he was tackled by one of the Cardinals' defensive backs. That's never a good sign. You want the first or second level, your defensive line or linebackers, to be making those tackles. That's not happening so far. Otterbein needs to fix that.
The give to the All-OAC back. And that time he is met by the front line of the Cardinals for about a 3-yard gain. We'll bring up 2nd down and 7 yards to go.
The defense with Eric Mitchell.
Credit Mitchell and McKeever on the tackle that time. The 2 receivers near side, none to the top. They fake the give to Brooks. Meese is going to roll out. Greaves is coming in on him. It's a high pass. Alex Cameron looked like he might have got a hand on that one. Greaves with tremendous pressure from the outside, forcing a errant pass from the junior gunslinger, and it sails high.
Zach Greaves, the leading tackler on the Otterbein Cardinals defense just a season ago, had a lot of sacks, did a great job coming off the edge, and he has carried that into this season. Doesn't have any sacks, but clearly he's still putting a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterback.
Huge 3rd down here. They're throwing, and that is incomplete. In and out of the hands of Dye. It would have given a first down had he could have come up with the reception. And now it's decision time for Coach Hollett, and it looks like he will send the punt team out onto the field.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Meese is not on tonight. You know, we talked about Ben Sizemore is on tonight. That's a great. We talked about that. Meese is not. He is not on tonight. I don't know what it is, but he's missing a lot of throws that typically he's going to make. And he's coming up short. He's throwing them high. I mean, he's throwing them all over the place. So we'll see if Meese can get that fixed up. But man, that's a good sign for the Cardinals.
Smith gets it away, but there is a whistle, before the snap, and the officials will blow it dead. We'll get the call.
Full start, 39 against the kicking team. 4th down.
Call is false start, so they'll back up 5 more yards, and Otterbein will benefit there. So Steven Smith already with 2 punts tonight, averaging his average of times he goes out on the field for a game the entire season. So the Otterbein defense obviously doing something right.
Excuse me, David. Otterbein hasn't had a very big special teams play yet. It'd be nice to see one right here. Try to build on that lead they have over 12th ranked Heidelberg.
Coming with a block formation, Smith gets it off, and it will be bounced at the 30-yard line. Connor Lucas will let it roll, and it will be down at the 21-yard line. So that's where Ben Sizemore will come back out on the field, leading his 10 other teammates, hopefully trying to replicate last drive, which lasted only 3 plays and ended in a 74-yard touchdown pass to Bryce Frenzel.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. Again, I think as they had great success, obviously, through the air on their last drive with that 74-yard pass play, you still have to work on the run game. You still have to continue to show that you're going to run the football, still try to establish that ground and pound that Otterbein so desperately needs in this game against a high-powered offense in Heidelberg.
4 receivers on the field for Sizemore. Drew Irvin joining him in the backfield from shotgun formation. The give is to Irvin. Irvin lowers his shoulder pads and dives forward for about a 5-yard gain.
In a little compare and contrast here between Cartel Brooks and Drew Irvin. Right there, you see a little crevice, just a tiny little crevice. Cartel Brooks is going to squeeze through there. What does Drew Irvin do? He just lowers his head, lowers his shoulder pads, and he just blows that hole up, takes it from a small crease to an absolute huge hole, and is able to get through there and pick up a bunch of yards. 2 running backs, completely different styles of play, but both equally successful.
I don't think anyone's going to mistake Drew Irvin for Cartel Brooks out on the field tonight. Well, we see Bryce Frenzel check out of the game, and they will move back into the shotgun formation. Irvin, the deep man. Chester Deaton standing to the right of Sizemore. It's an option. Sizemore's going to keep it. Nowhere to go that time as he's wrapped up by 2 white jerseys and thrown to the ground.
I'm not sure I've seen the option play for Otterbein pick up any yards. I mean, am I right? I mean, I haven't seen that play go as I think planned yet this season.
That play has not worked all year. I remember in week 1 against St. John Fisher, the very first drive of the game, they tried to run it and they fumbled. Against Wilmington, they ran it, they fumbled again. It's not a play that works very well. Ben Sizemore is not an option quarterback, and I don't know why Coach Daub continually goes to that play in his playbook, this time coming from the shotgun with Rudolph. 3 receivers to the near side. Sizemore, the 3-step drop. He needs to look out, and he grounds that one. He can feel the pressure coming.
Well, it was a screen. It was supposed to be a screen pass to Derek Rudolph, but the defensive tackle for Heidelberg stayed home, read it perfectly all the way, and was able to get in between Sizemore and Rudolph. Ben Sizemore really did the smart thing there, not trying to force it in there and potentially throwing an interception deep in his own territory. Good job by Ben Sizemore to get rid of the football.
Well, the revolving door that is punter for the Cardinals continued. Jordan Keaton will not be back in punt formation this time. It is 3rd-string quarterback Ryan Toombs, averaging 35.9 a kick this year on 7 tries, rugby style. He gets this one off end over end. Very good kick. Fair catch called for, fair catch granted at the 38-yard line for Heidelberg.
For Heidelberg by number 4.
I wouldn't be surprised, David, if we see Heidelberg really come out and just hand the football to Cartel Brooks, because Meese is not on, and it'll be interesting to see how long head coach Mike Hallett sticks with trying to throw the football. I mean, it has not worked out very well, and we've seen the running game for Heidelberg really hasn't been stopped yet. So we'll see if Meese continues to drop back and throw, or if they're going to start repeatedly handing it to Brooks.
The give to Brooks. He has nowhere to go as he is wrapped up at the waist by, looks like, Eric Mitchell, the first man to get on him that time, along with Austin Jones, the standout freshman linebacker for the Cardinals, the team's leader in tackles this year, 47 tackles, also 7 tackles for a loss, leading the defense in both categories, just a freshman. Wes McKeever is going to show blitz at the bottom of the screen as Meese rolls out towards the far sideline. He's going to throw it, and he cannot hit his intended receiver. It goes out of bounds, and it will bring up a 3rd down. And this Otterbein defense, after giving up the long touchdown to Cartel Brooks, has done exactly what they need to do, Harrison, to slow down this potent offense that's averaging 62 a game.
Well, you mentioned Austin Jones, and right there he got a big lick on Michael Meese, forced the bad pass, but a great job. Otterbein is really getting pressure. They don't have a sack yet, but they've gotten a lot of pressure, and they've really made Meese uncomfortable back there, which has led to the inaccuracy.
1 of 3 on 3rd down conversions today. Meese back to pass, feeling the pressure, throws. He has it complete to Dye. Dye looks like he's 2 yards ahead of the first down chains, and it will convert. It will be the 5th first down of the game for the Student Princes, and the drive stays alive for them. Will Brett in on the tackle.
Pretty good throw there by Meese. That threw an absolute laser in the chest of his receiver to pick up the first down. Nice play.
Neese along with Brooks. The give is to Brooks. Brooks has some room to run. He gets past one linebacker, reverses field position, and he's hit hard from behind, but he does have a first down on a 15-yard carry.
Tell you what, David, Pat Coleman, he has been a tremendous leader on this defense all season long. Comes from the defensive tackle position and makes the tackle 15 yards down the field. I mean, great job, great hustle, great effort right there from Coleman, and he's a definitely one of the top senior leaders on this defense.
A high snap, Neese is able to recover, and another long run for Cartel Brooks, the first team All-OAC back a year ago. Just a junior.
Wes McKeever with the defense.
He's able to move the chains again. Clock will resume when the ball is set with 10 minutes, 45 seconds to go before we hit the locker rooms. Brooks up the middle. Brooks to the 5. Brooks breaks off one tackle, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cartel Brooks, his second rushing touchdown of the game, his 13th of the season, and he gives the Student Princes the lead once again.
Well, Eric Mitchell and Ryan Moore, they both missed tackles on Brooks. Now, I'm not saying I could tackle Cartel Brooks, but then again, I'm not a football player. You need to be able to tackle. Someone's got to make the tackle, and right there, 2 missed tackles, a big hole opened up for Brooks, and he was able to take full advantage of it. Touchdown Heidelberg. They now lead by 3, looking to make it 4 here on the extra point.
Kilger's kick is up. It sails over the goalpost, and it is good. And it is a 14-10 game here now at Memorial Stadium with the Rhine River Cup on the line.
14-10 Heidelberg, like you said, David, and this is an exciting game. I mean, both offenses right now have shown that they can go with some explosive plays. They can make plays down the field. So the big 74-yard touchdown pass to Bryce Frenzel from Ben Sizemore. Cartel Brooks obviously having another phenomenal game, kind of expected. But this is going to be a fun game. It's going to be a great. It's definitely a great night for football. Chilly weather, late October. This is what it's all about.
This is football weather here, and the thing for Otterbein, keep up the energy. You saw on the sidelines, they were excited down there. Just because you allowed another rushing touchdown, don't lose that energy. Don't lose that momentum that you had. Because you've seen it in other games this year. When they get down, they start to get down on themselves as well, and they lose their energy, and all the pop of the offense comes out. You don't do that in this game. You're still well within it, only a 4-point game now. Still 10 minutes to go before we hit the locker rooms. So Kilger has the ball on the tee, approaching it from 10 yards out. That one's going to go out of bounds. A weird kick.
Nice break there for the Cardinals.
Kilger, so
out of bounds, penalty on the play.
I'm not sure if they were trying to go for somewhat of an onside kick.
It didn't look like a regular kickoff. Looked like they were trying to squib it to someone in particular, and he missed his execution that time, and it rolls out of bounds. If I'm not mistaken, the ball will be...
It'll be placed right at the 40-yard line.
At the 40.
Illegal kick out of bounds. The ball will be placed by rule at the spot where it went out of bounds. First down.
So Otterbein will take over with tremendous field position. Ball on the 40-yard line.
Ball is spotted at the 40-yard line.
As we take a look at some of the other scores from around the Ohio Athletic Conference, Mount Union, no surprise, defeated Capital in Bexley 58-3. Muskingum scored a touchdown against John Carroll.
Hey.
Just the second time the Blue Streaks have allowed a touchdown all year. They won 41-9. Ohio Northern beat up on Marietta 45-0. And Baldwin Wallace is trailing Wilmington 6-0. A surprise there in Wilmington, Ohio. And of course, our game here is the nightcap. 14-10 in the second quarter as Sizemore fakes to Irvin. He's looking to throw. He's under pressure. He's going to take off. Sizemore, he'll have the first down after a tremendous block, and he'll step out of bounds after a 15-yard pickup at the 45-yard line.
Great block right there by McCoy at the top of your screen. Made a great block that allowed Sizemore to pick up an extra 10 to 12 yards along with the Cardinal first down. Nice job there. Good start to the drive for the Cardinals.
So far today, Ben Sizemore is 4 of 5 passing, 102 yards. Of course, has the long touchdown pass. So a new set of downs for the Cardinals. Out of that I formation, Chester Deaton, the fullback, Drew Irvin, the deep man. The give to Irvin. Irvin again lowering his shoulder pads. He's just so difficult to bring down, Harrison. You know, he gets hit by 2 defensive linemen instantly, but he carries them to the second level of the linebackers, and he forces the entire linebacking core to bring him down as well.
Exactly, like you said. I mean, it looks like a lot of times when Drew Irvin carries the ball, it doesn't look like he's gained. It looks like it's a no gain.
Right.
Like it looks like he stopped right at the line. That's not the case. I mean, he like you said, he carries guys. He makes contact may come at the line of scrimmage, but he's always moving forward, and that's what makes him such a successful back for this Cardinal offense.
Going with the 2 running back system, Derek Rudolph will check back into the game. Frenzel and Carpenter are the near side receivers off the line of scrimmage, and Sizemore again doesn't like what he sees, and he's going to burn his second timeout of the game. So we've seen Sizemore do that twice now. I'm not sure if it's just he doesn't like the defense that he sees against the plays and doesn't feel comfortable to audible out of that play, or whatever the offensive formation is he does not like. So Coach Daup will huddle around his players and give them some instruction on what to do here on 2nd down and 7. And for the Cardinals, if they can score a touchdown here, you got to imagine, Harrison, a touchdown here, if you can take the lead, the momentum will be huge again for the Cardinals as they, about 10 minutes to go before we hit the locker rooms. If they can take a lead into the locker room, that'll be a huge boost for their momentum going forward into the second half.
Certainly. I mean, yeah, I don't think you and I both were on Cardinal kickoff, and there's proof now that we're not going to get this right.
Our names are out there.
Yes, our names are out there. We predicted big wins for Heidelberg, but Otterbein's doing a great job. They're sticking with him. They're holding true. This team looks like the team that played last year.
Yep.
This looks like the Otterbein Cardinals of last season, which really we haven't seen so far here in 2013. It's fun to watch, good to see, and we have a great one here at Memorial Stadium. You went over the OAC scores earlier, David. This is clearly the game of the day in the OAC.
This is the big-time matchup, the primetime game at night, of course. Anyone can watch it who wants here, streaming on OTV as Sizemore back to pass. Has some good protection this time. He throws it towards the sidelines. That one almost intercepted. Would have been the first pick of the year. Sizemore threw as it goes out of bounds.
Adam Sepik, the senior linebacker over there, nice job leaving his zone and helping a teammate out, getting in front of the wide receiver, and is able to get a hand on that ball, tip it away. Incomplete pass, 3rd and long now for the Cardinals.
You mentioned our predictions on Cardinal kickoff. I hope that we get to say that we are wrong at the end of this game, Harrison. I hope we get to tell the entire viewing audience that we predicted a wrong one. And my record will go even worse on the year.
5 wide now for the Cardinals. 3rd and long.
Sizemore all by himself in the shotgun. Again, he's going to have to burn a timeout. The play clock was winding down that time. That's the reason he had to do it. He looked up, saw that play clock was at 1 second, and that's never good. Coming so close out of a timeout, you want to have all your plays lined up so you don't have to do something like that. But they burned their 3rd timeout, Harrison. No more to go in the second half, facing a huge 3rd down here.
And you hope that doesn't come back to bite you, but you don't want to burn those timeouts early, especially you call a timeout, go over to the sideline, you talk it over for a minute, 2 minutes, you go back out, you throw an incomplete pass, and then you call another timeout. That's not productive. That's not an efficient use of your timeouts, and obviously Coach Daup knows that, and Ben Sizemore knows that, but for whatever reason, they just were not on the same page. Sizemore didn't like what he saw, and turns around, calls a timeout, but none remaining for Otterbein the rest of this half.
Otterbein 3 of 6 converting 3rd downs today, so 50% on the day, much improved from their 28% average on the season. Same formation. Frenzel, the man who has the Otterbein touchdown, comes in motion, is now lined up as a wingman. Sizemore rolls out to the far sideline. He's going to throw for Jeremy McCoy, and he had him. Just missed him by a few inches of his outstretched fingertips. The first time Sizemore has targeted Jeremy McCoy the entire game. He had him. He beat his cornerback on that route, but just couldn't loft it into his outstretched arms that time, and it will bring up a 4th down.
You don't often see head coach Tim Daup as animated as I just saw him there on the sideline as that ball was put up in the air. Tim Daup ran about 8 yards out onto the field, hoping to be celebrating a touchdown pass to Jeremy McCoy. Was not the case, but you love to see that kind of passion and excitement from head coach Tim Daup.
Keaton back in at punter, and his woes as a punter today continue as he lowers his head as he trots off the field. That one rolls way out of bounds over towards DeVore Hall there, and Heidelberg will come out with great field position. But plays like that, Harrison, if you want to beat the 12th ranked team in the nation, or ones you have to convert on, your receiver beats the cornerback on a great route. You have to be able to make that pass if you're Ben Sizemore.
Yeah, just got a little too much air under it. Probably just got a little excited. Saw that McCoy had a step or two on the defensive player and just kind of put a little too much air under it. But, I mean, better to overthrow in that situation where you don't have a safety lurking over the top, one-on-one. Just, if you're going to miss, throw it too far and incomplete pass instead of an interception.
Meese, along with Brooks in the backfield, to give to Brooks. Gets past one tackler, and he has another long run.
Why would you throw the ball?
Here
Why
comes
would you throw the ball?
Cartel Brooks past the 50-yard line, down to the 30. Boniface, the only man in pursuit. He misses that tackle there, and he is finally saved. Touchdown saving tackle by Austin Jones that time. He takes it all the way down to the 3-yard line. And as you said on the run, Harrison, there's no reason for Michael Meese to throw the ball when you can call Cartel Brooks left, Cartel Brooks right every single play.
I mean, this guy is a sensational talent. I don't want him. I'm pulling for Otterbein, but I have to tell you, David, it is fun to watch this kid carry the football.
Because he gets met in the backfield or at the line of scrimmage, and he just is so shifty. He's able to
shifty. That is the word. That is the word to describe Cartel Brooks. Very shifty, and man, he is an electric player.
They're gonna pass, looking in the end zone, and he has incomplete pass. Ty Compton was on coverage. There. He slipped down, and he had his receiver wide open, but he never had possession close to the back line there. Again, why would you pass the ball there? You're on the 3-yard line. Just call Cartel Brooks' number and give it to him. It was an amazing tackle by Austin Jones to save the touchdown that time. So Cartel Brooks having himself a sensational day. He's looking to score his 3rd touchdown here as we see them come out in the I formation for the first time all game.
Well over 100 yards now for Cartel Brooks on the night. We're only partway through the second quarter.
They're going to give it to Brooks, and Brooks has the touchdown from 3 yards out. He's into the end zone. Cartel Brooks with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game, and I have a feeling we're not going to stop calling his name for quite some time. And Heidelberg extends their lead over Otterbein now to 20-10.
Extra point pending.
Nate Haas is the holder. Zach Yates, the long snapper. And of course, Dan Kilgore to boot it through the uprights, which he does, and extends the lead to an 11-point game now. The drive for the Student Princes, 3 plays, 77 yards, and takes 40 seconds off the clock. And of course, increases their lead 21-10 over Otterbein, and that Otterbein sideline, Harrison, looks a lot different now than it did a few minutes ago.
It certainly does, and you can understand why. It's so frustrating when you're playing well, and then that big play gets you, and that's happened twice now. 2 long runs by Cartel Brooks, one the touchdown and one that set up this last touchdown, but I mean, yeah, it's so deflating when you give up those big plays because it just you don't really see it coming, and then boom, it just hits you, and all of a sudden you're down 11.
Cartel Brooks 9 yards short of 200 yards in this game already. Cole Brenner and Stephen Carpenter will be the deep man awaiting the kickoff, standing at their own 5-yard line. 8:17 to go before we head to the locker room. Officially, Cartel Brooks, 12 carries, 191 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
For the Student Princes.
A low line driving kick will be fielded by the up man at the 30-yard line. That's Bryson Ray, the tight end, who fields it, and he's able to carry it out to the 37-yard line. And Ben Sizemore will come out there and try to score here and gives Otterbein some momentum heading into halftime after the Heidelberg offense has taken all the life out of that sideline.
Otterbein's got to score here. David, I think this is a very important drive for Ben Sizemore and the Cardinals. You go 3 and out right here, give the ball back to Heidelberg. They go down and get some more points before half. You also have to remember that Heidelberg is going to get the ball to start the second half.
That's right.
So you don't want Heidelberg to, I mean, obviously you want to keep this thing tight and not let it get too far out of hand here, but certainly this drive is a big one. And they're going to have to pick up some first downs, move the ball, and pick up some points.
That play there will not get it done out of the I formation. The give to Drew Irvin over the right tackle. He's met instantly and loses a yard.
And nice job right there by the Heidelberg defender.
Combines on the defense with Adam Sepik.
That's where you got to go on Irvin, man. You got to go for those ankles. And that's exactly what Heidelberg did there. Nice stop in the backfield. 2nd down and 11 now for the Cardinals.
Derek Rudolph joining Sizemore in the backfield. Rudolph, watch the screen pass here as he motions out as a receiver. There it is. They get it. Frenzel trying to block. And Rudolph carries it to the 40-yard line. He's unable to shake that defender.
Number 18, Derek
We'll bring up a 3rd down now. The clock resumes. 7:23 in the 2nd quarter. Otterbein will have Bryce Frenzel and Connor Lucas check into the game at receiver. 3rd down, 7 yards to convert. That's McCoy and Carpenter near side. Only intended McCoy one time in this game. The throw, it is dropped by Steve Carpenter. They're in and out of his hands. Looked like he would have been shy of the 1st down regardless. And we'll bring up a 4th down. And Coach Stout is going to have a decision to make here.
Well, it wasn't the best run route by Stephen Carpenter, and then it wasn't the best throw by Ben Sizemore. Those two things combined, and you have an Otterbein punt, another 3 and out for the offense. And going to give Heidelberg the football back with more than plenty of time on the clock here in the 1st half. Not what you wanted to see there if you're Coach Daup.
Keaton gets off a good one this time, a spiraling
Great
kick.
Punt.
That will bounce at the 10-yard line, and it will be dead at the 3-yard line. So a great punt that time by Jordan Keaton to completely reverse the field position. And it will be Heidelberg ball on the 3-yard line.
That's a big play. I mean, that is a very big play right there. It's called special teams for a reason right there. That is a special play, one that can really help out this Otterbein defense, who's given up a couple big plays the last few possessions.
Cartel Brooks will make his way back out onto the field, and Harrison, we have not even hit halftime, and he is 109 yards away from the school record.
Oh, wow.
1 touchdown away from tying the school rushing record in a game for rushing touchdowns in a game. He's standing in his own end zone out of the I formation. Michael Meese under center. They give to Brooks. He's met by a combination of
good job there.
Will Brett and Austin Jones that time to bring him down. Good job by Otterbein to get penetration on the Student Prince's line.
You don't see this high-powered offense, this high-flying Heidelberg offense go to the I formation very often. But when they do, you know number 8 is getting the football, and they go to it here again, still inside the 5 in their own territory.
Again, out of the I formation, ball on the 5-yard line. Brooks left this time, and Zach Greaves is able to dive and bring him down. Great job by the defensive end that time to bring him down before he could break away for a long run.
Zach Greaves with the tackle for the Cardinals.
Typically, you would say if you can stop the run and force on 1st and 2nd down and force a pass on 3rd and long, that's what you want as a defense. But with a guy like Michael Meese at the quarterback, the signal caller, that's not a great thing. If you're, it's kind of pick your poison. Cartel Brooks or Michael Meese, 2 great players on this Heidelberg offense.
Meese completes it for a 1st down, and they have it to the 30-yard line. So they'll move the chains there as he completes it to his receiver.
We mentioned earlier that Otterbein needed to do well on 3rd down offensively. Same thing goes on defense. You have 3rd and 7. Really need to get a big stop, especially when they're backed up in their own territory. Unfortunate the Cardinals couldn't get a stop there.
Cartel Brooks on the delayed handoff, and he's able to carry for a 5-yard gain. That run there should bring Brooks' rushing total for the game up over 200 yards.
Eric Mitchell with the stop for the Cardinals.
You see Otterbein in their 4-3 defense, 4 linemen, 3 linebackers.
Again, Meese with the spinning handoff. And a gang tackle that time on Brooks.
Cartel Brooks ahead for the Student Princes.
Austin Jones, the first man to meet him.
Cartel Brooks needs to take a breather here. He's trotting off to the sideline.
3rd down, Heidelberg.
I would say he deserves it.
to say the least, and we should see Jeff Helms, the freshman running back, get his chance to tote the ball now. It was Hell's Bells play from the PA system at Memorial Stadium. 3rd down and 2 yards to convert. The give to Helms, and Helms will lower his shoulder pads, and it looks from our vantage point like he might be a little short of that first down marker, Harrison.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and
very close.
Maybe a foot. They're going to measure.
Timeout to bring out the chains to measure.
Officials timeout for a measurement.
Helms, a good running back in his own regard. 4 rushing touchdowns coming into this one whenever he gets time to play in relief of Cartel Brooks. Still looks to be a little short from where we're sitting. They will bring out the chains. This will be a huge measurement right here, Harrison, if they're able to stop him, and they indeed do punt. Short. Just a few inches short, and it will bring up a 4th down. So, decision time now for Coach Hallett.
They're going to go ahead and go for it. I mean, I would expect nothing less from Mike Hallett, very aggressive coach. I mean, when you meet him, his handshake, David, is about as firm as any handshake I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, he's just an intense guy. You know, you can tell he's a very aggressive style coach, and that's what we're seeing right now. They're going to go ahead and go for it in their own territory against the Otterbein Cardinal defense. But why? I mean, they've been playing good defense the last few drives, so you have some confidence in your D to come up with a stop if you don't get this. But I'm sure he fully expects his big uglies up front to get a good push and allow for a first down.
Coach Hallett in his 9th season as the head coach, a 54-42 career record, 2-4 against Otterbein. As he calls out his checks, does Michael Meese from the shotgun. Helms in the backfield with him. And it looks like Otterbein might have jumped, and they did, so it's a free play here. Throwing, and it is incomplete anyways, but it doesn't matter because the Otterbein defensive line jumped, so Meese knew he had a free play and threw it into double coverage. Looked as though
Zach Greaves, a little jumpy. So it'll be a first down for Heidelberg, and their drive continues as they approach midfield. Just under 4 minutes left to play.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Imagine when Greaves heads over the sideline, he'll get an earful from Coach Dow. A penalty you just cannot commit. We saw penalties very costly to Otterbein in the first few weeks of the season. Seemed like they had that problem resolved last week. However, a very costly offsides penalty that time gives the Student Princes a first down, and Cartel Brooks checks back into the game, and that time he is taken down for a minimal 2-yard gain.
Michael Greenwell,
tremendous job right there coming up from his defensive position and making that stop. When you get Cartel Brooks on the ground on the first try with one guy on your defense, that's a win. And that's what happened right there. Good job by Greenwell.
Cartel Brooks over 200 yards in this game on 16 carries. Clock winding, 3:10 left to go in the first half. Otterbein 3 down linemen. Brooks up the middle, and he's hit hard, and he is brought down. Austin Jones, a great job that time. Brooks shed the first tackle, but the inside linebacker was able to lower his shoulder pads and level him for what looks like maybe the first time we've seen Brooks tackled for a loss in this game, Harrison.
That's a good job. The defensive line plugged up all the holes on the right side of the offense, which is where Brooks was looking to run, and then as he cut back, Austin Jones came up, made a nice hit, tackled for a loss, 3rd and long.
Meese back to pass, all day to throw, and he's going to take off. Meese close to the first down sticks, and he is shoved out of bounds by Eric Mitchell. A penalty flag comes in late on the play.
On the carry.
I would assume this is going to be
Alex Cameron on the defense.
A hold against
penalty on the play.
Heidelberg, but
it was the back judge that threw the penalty flag, and now there's a meeting between the officials to get things straightened out. The official call.
Blocking back. 22 against the offense. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Repeat. 3rd down.
I got to wonder, is that a declinable penalty, Harrison? I imagine that it is.
Oh, certainly, yeah. I was going to say, I don't know why.
Coach Daup opts not to decline the penalty, and it looked like it would have brought up about a 4th down and 4 yards to go. Granted, Heidelberg has gone for it on 4th down, and they would have been in their own territory, so they might have gone for it. But Coach Daup elects to take the penalty.
I mean, it would have, what was it? It would have been 4th and 9 or so. I don't know if it would have gone for that, but, Well, hopefully they don't get a 1st down here. We don't have to worry about it anymore the rest of the game.
So Meese from the pistol with Brooks. Back to pass is Meese. Meese is going to chuck it long, and he has it. It is tipped by Ty Compton. Got his hand in there. Ty Compton, and looks like Alex Cameron joined on that one to knock it away. And that will bring up a 4th down and long, and it will send the punt team out on the field with 2 minutes to go in the game. It looks like Otterbein will have one more chance to try to put it in the end zone before halftime.
He was open.
He was.
He was open, but a nice job, good closing speed shown in the Cardinals secondary. But that was a big play there for the Otterbein Cardinals defense to get off the field, give the ball back to the offense, and give them another chance to put some more points on the board here before halftime.
Steven Smith in punt formation for the 3rd time tonight. No pressure on him at all as he gets it off. End over end, it bounces at the 33-yard line and will roll out of bounds near the 25-yard line. So Otterbein will come out. 1 minute, 52 seconds on the scoreboard, and they will try to lessen this lead for Heidelberg and get some momentum as they head into the locker room.
And here it is. Here we are, David. Here we are. We talked about how those timeouts were, they're valuable. And here you are. You have 2 minutes to drive down the football field from the 26-yard line. How valuable would those timeouts be right now? They burned through them very quick, and now they will have to go the length of the field with 0 timeouts against this Heidelberg defense.
Please cease from playing any music while the players are calling their cadence. Thank you.
So we get a little scolding from the officials down on the field, telling the PA announcers and the music operators to not play music while cadences are being called. A score update from Wilmington, Ohio. Well, Wilmington scored the first touchdown of the game, but it's been all Baldwin Wallace since then. In the 3rd quarter, 46-7, they have the lead over the Quakers.
That happened fast.
That escalated really quickly.
Yes, it did, Ron Burgundy.
Screen pass to Steve Carpenter. Carpenter has nowhere to go. He's able to break a pair of tackles, but finally goes out of bounds. Oh, it does not go out of bounds. The clock will continue to run. So a minute and 39 as it continues to tick down. 2nd down here. Otterbein quickly trying to get into formation, and this is where being a huddle team really hurts you. Derek Rudolph in the backfield with Sizemore. Rudolph is going to take it, running towards the far sideline. He needs to get out of bounds. He dives for those 1st down sticks. He did get out of bounds. Looks like he'll be a little short of the 1st down marker, though. A strange call by Coach Daup there with only a little bit more than a minute to go to run the ball on a jet run towards the far sideline. A lot of ground to cover to try to get out of bounds for Rudolph.
For the Cardinals.
Steve Carpenter is the slot receiver to the near side. Jeremy McCoy, the receiver, to the far side. A minute 20 on the scoreboard. Fakes to give to Rudolph. Again, a screen pass to Carpenter. Carpenter takes it out across the 40-yard line. Carpenter is finally shoved out at the 45-yard line. A little bit of room to run. He picks up the 1st down, but I saw you shaking your head there, Harrison. A kind of a questionable play call with only a minute to go before you head to the locker room and you're still running screen passes.
I don't mind the call, David, but the throw from Sizemore was behind Carpenter, and it kind of hindered him from being able to really get the max amount of yards on the catch, as it kind of slowed him down, had to turn around and lost a couple steps. And I think if that ball is put on target, Carpenter has a much better chance of turning that into a huge play.
Sizemore throwing for McCoy, and it is batted away from his receiver, and a late penalty flag comes and looks like we might have pass interference on the Student Princes.
That looked pretty clean to me, but
penalty on the play.
It was a very, very late flag. Nice break there for Otterbein. I don't know, David, that looked to me like a clean play, but
just the 2nd time Heidelberg has been flagged in this one. Yeah, it looked like he was in really good coverage of McCoy that time. Didn't have his hands on him, but Otterbein will take the benefit from the yellow penalty flag. It will give him a 1st down. Ball on the 38-yard line. 69 minutes remaining in the first half of the game. Ben Sizemore in the shotgun with 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Jeremy McCoy, the man he just targeted, is at the near sideline. Sizemore, back to pass, looking to throw. He was intending for Frenzel that time, in and out of the hands of Bryce Frenzel, and it will bring up second down and 10 yards to go.
Adam Sepek on the defense for Heidelberg. Second down and 10.
Second and 10 now for Otterbein. Again, they come out with 1 back, 4 wide receivers. McCoy alone at the bottom of your screen.
Connor Lucas, the receiver nearest the side, or excuse me, the offensive line to the top of your screen as Sizemore fades the pass. He's going to throw for Lucas, and Lucas has the reception. Connor Lucas will pick up the first down, and they need to go. The sideline is calling for a spike. Coach Daup wants him to throw this one to the turf and stop the clock, and that is what Ben Sizemore does, and it stops the clock with 58 seconds left.
Oh, you got some confusion here. I don't know.
The officials are saying it obviously was an incomplete pass as he spikes the ball, stopping it with 58 seconds left. Coach Daup very animated on the sideline about how he wanted his senior gunslinger to spike the ball there. So, second down and 10, 58 seconds. Otterbein trailing by 11 points. And some more confusion.
You're going to reset the play clock.
I don't think these officials are too happy with our press box tonight, Harrison. Jeremy McCoy, the receiver, near side. Sizemore in the shotgun with Derek Rudolph. Looking to throw. He's looking for McCoy, and it is out of bounds. Way overthrows his receiver, the Miriam Franklin graduate, and it will bring up a third down. 53.7 seconds left on the scoreboard. So Otterbein obviously trying to punch it in here. Harrison, what kind of play do you think would net Otterbein the most yards and the most effective? We've seen the screen. We've seen the long passes towards the end zone. What do you expect to see here from Sizemore?
Well, they've done a great job of completing passes over the middle. I think a post right here. You can still use the middle of the field as long as you pick up the first down in the process and stop the clock as the chains reset. I think over the middle would be a great place for Otterbein to go. They've had a lot of success there thus far tonight.
Sizemore from the pocket, throwing. He has it complete to the 20-yard line, down to the 15, and brought down there close to a first down. Looks like he picked up the first down.
To number 80, Travis Laird.
They're going to spike it here. They pick up the first down. They're going to spike it, kill the clock.
The clock is not winding. It will start once they get the first down. Laird, the receiver at that time. Sizemore under center, and he'll clock the ball. So 41.1 seconds on the scoreboard. And again, there appears to be some confusion. Heidelberg apparently called a timeout. I'm not sure if that was before or after the spike. It still says first down on the scoreboard, so I imagine it was before the spike, which is a strange call from the student princes, knowing that Otterbein's going to clock that ball. I seriously doubt that Sizemore is going to pull a Dan Marino and fake the spike and throw it for a touchdown.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe our press box.
So they are going to say they called the timeout before they got the clock off, so it will give Otterbein 3 extra seconds as well, and will preserve a down for him as well. So kind of a strange call by Coach Hallett there.
Again, I said that the middle has been open all night, and again, Otterbein goes to the well, and Sizemore finds an open receiver over the middle, and a nice run after catch. Gets him down inside the red zone. And they are in business. First down from about the 12-yard line, 13-yard line, and the Cardinals looking to put some late points on here before we head to halftime.
We have not seen Drew Irvin at all on this drive, exclusively going with the little Derek Rudolph in the backfield.
Rudolph more of a pass-catching receiver, or running back, excuse me, and used in the 2-minute drill offense. Irvin, like we've talked about, more of a bruiser.
McCoy, the receiver, to the bottom of the screen. Sizemore back to pass, throwing for Carpenter, and batted in and out of Steve Carpenter's hands around the 5-yard line. Runs 4 seconds off the clock, and will bring up a second down and 10.
Not a bad play there, but you could tell that was going to be a tight window for Sizemore to get that pass in. Was unable to do so, but and that's really odd to me that Heidelberg called a timeout before Sizemore spiked the ball.
I guess they figured they had a few to burn still with all 3 timeouts prior to that one.
That's a big play.
Nonetheless, the ball is on the 13-yard line for Ben Sizemore from the shotgun. Fakes the give to Rudolph. He has a screen route. It's Carpenter. Carpenter at the 10. Carpenter is upended near the first down sticks there. Carpenter's able to elude one tackler, and it looks like Otterbein is going to quickly get up to the line of scrimmage.
Now
You got to run a play here. This is
you have third
down here. They're going to run a play out of the shotgun, not going to spike it. The clock continues to run. There's 18 seconds. Down to 15. Sizemore looking to throw, under pressure, and they're not going to be able to get another play off, I don't think, Harrison. They're going to try to quickly get back to the line of scrimmage. Substitutions coming into the game for both sides. There's no way they're going to get it off now. 3 seconds left on the clock. There's no way. Trying to line up for a field goal. They're not going to get it off. That's what they're trying to do, is get out there quickly for a field goal from Alana Gaither, but very unsuccessful, very unorganized by the Cardinals in the final 30 seconds of the half.
Well, that's what happens.
They get no points out of it.
Have any time. That's what happens when you burn through your timeouts when really you shouldn't have to use them.
It might seem little when Sizemore calls a timeout because he doesn't like the defensive front, but when you have a situation like that, you need a timeout. You can line up for a field goal and make it a one-possession game. But they struggle. That was very ineffective there by the Cardinals. Remember, we will have an interview with head coach Tim Daup hopefully at some point before we hit the locker rooms here. But, Harrison, you just can't do that. That's very poor game managing. I know in practice they work on things like that. I know that they have a time where they work on the 2-minute drill, the 30-second drill, where you have to get a unit of the like a special teams unit on and off the field extremely quickly, and that was very ineffective and poor game managing in the final 20 seconds of the game.
Well, you know, it's tough, especially when you're playing a team like Heidelberg that you know is going to put points on the scoreboard, as they've done it in the first half. You have to cash in when you have the opportunities, and right there, obviously, Otterbein came up short. We're unable to put any points on the board. We're unable to even attempt a field goal, and that could certainly come back to hurt Otterbein as we progress through this game. But I think overall a good first half for Otterbein. I mean, not a bad half. I think there were plays that they didn't make. The one that sticks out in my mind is the pass from Sizemore to McCoy. Sizemore threw it barely overthrew his receiver, but fell incomplete, and that was a play that I think certainly could have gone a long way for the Cardinals. Didn't happen, and we're here 21-10 at halftime.
As you said, that is the halftime score. We're going to step aside here on OTV we'll have a little more halftime show. Cartel Brooks, Harrison.
We're going to toss it down to Jordan Brown, I believe, who is down on the field with head coach Tim Daup. Jordan?
Heidelberg, Otterbein with 10. We'll be back, David and I, from the press box to begin the second half after our halftime show.
Day one, it's about time we're out here, right? Just like last year, okay? On three, time to go to work. Everybody should have their helmet on. We're ready to go. You still have something to prove to the OAC, correct? All right, we got unfinished business. Everybody know where you're going. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Time to go to work. We'll run right into me. Twins right. My bad. My bad. I'm at slot right the whole time. I'm saying deuce and everything else. Where's my fullback? You're my option guy now. Got me? Hey, everybody. Stay with him, stay with him, stay with him, stay with him. Boom. 35 triple. Cosmo. Trips left.
Black 10. Black 10.
All right, probably a little farther. We got to work it.
I want to make it easy for you so you know when you're tripling and when you're not.
You're left, you go to the right.
Get that lactic acid out of your legs from this morning. You got to get it out of your body. We're going to run at some point. You don't know when. That is not happening. Not at all. Get to where you belong. Break it down and get where you belong. Here we go. On the fly. Okay, wrong foot. Up foot. Back foot. Up foot. Back foot. Nothing can come through this gap. Okay? Nothing. When you step, you just want to be able to hit that line and be right there. Okay?
Here, I'm the ball. I'm the ball. Come on. Come on. Come on. Little things. Little things.
Nothing can come in here. We don't care about out here. This person cannot move that foot because the bend point is impossible for somebody to come off this edge, to come off this foot, bend, and block a kick. There's no way that should happen. Okay?
Okay? That's you. Well, the reason we're going to do that and be on you, that shows us that you know what the hell's going on. Okay?
Shorten your base if you have to. You don't want to lose your power. Nothing comes inside.
Let's go, dog it in. Hey, attention to detail, focus on the little things. Not a bad start, okay? Get a quick shot and go to Indy. Let's go. Fly around all day.
Fly around. Effort all day. Effort on three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Running backs will be over there. Okay, defense will be on the far field. Okay, got me? Here we go, bring it in. On 3, 1, let's get to where we belong. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Let's go, on the hop, let's go. When you step, it's gotta be right here. All right, chest up, boom, getting ready to catch it. All right, don't lower your head.
All right, as we improve on this every day, we're gonna be rolling through that, all right? Rolling through it. By the end of the week, you'll be doing this in your sleep with no problems. Now, all right, you're gonna hear 2 whistles. First one's gonna be read. Second whistle is going to be speed. That's where we pick it up and we roll. All right?
Austin, stop. Don't move. See where that step is? I need to move it over. It's got to be right there. There you go. See it? All right? It's going to take a while to get used to it. Okay? Who is this? Joey, you're still hopping. Don't hop. Stick it. Bam, bam, bam. Try to make that third step a little bit farther also. Got me? Here we go. Ready?
Come on, TJ. We'll get to that one.
Here we go. Ready? Make sure you hit the line. Ready? Hit. Good. Look at your aiming point. Make sure you're getting there. You're from Medina. I know. You can't count to 3. We play like that. You can't play like this. Okay? Or you're going to get knocked out.
Get better. Get better. Oh, don't lose balance on me. Don't lose balance on me, freshman. What? You did what you came through. You're rolling your whole leg. You're rolling your whole leg. When you roll, that back heel on the ground, your shoulders have nothing to do. See that straightness? They have nothing to do but to pop up. If I never roll it, I could always keep this over it, and I'm never going to have to do the dance. All right? Save that dance for the first time you go to a college party. All right? Here we go. Here we go. Going back. Read the speed.
I'm going to tell you right now, it looks funny because some of you have never done this and your same foot's going. It'll come. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just different. You're all right. See that? Difference. Hit your rib to your ribs. Elbow to ribs. Did I say rib to rib? Sorry. Elbow to ribs. Keep the ribs tight or get the elbows tight. Elbows tight. There you go. Much better. Now, listen. The one thing you don't want to do, okay, is stay on your toes. You got to hear your feet, okay? I know everybody's used to playing on your toes, but here, when you're running zone and stuff, I want you on your heels a little bit, all right? Because if you're on your toes, you're off balance, all right? And you lose your balance. There you go. Go. Back inside. You're leaning. Don't lean. Don't lean. I can already see, because you're taller, you like to lean. Okay, everything, all your power has got to come from here. Okay. All right, not your upper body leaning like you got to push. Okay. Everything's got to be right here. Okay. So it's got to be, see my chest? Everything's got to be right here. Okay?
6 point, let's go. When we explode up, we want our thumbs up. We want our chest up. We want to make sure we're exploding. So when we get in and we stand up, our hands are above what? All right. eyes, right? We want to play with bent knees and hands above our eyes. Explode, roll the hips up, get a good extension. We should fall forward, the sled should pop up.
Do it again, let's go. You gotta get used to this. It's just gonna take time, just different way we teach. What are you, crazy? This will teach you to stay low. Please do not hit the chute with your helmet because they're pretty and clean. I don't want black marks all over them. Okay? I felt it. Yeah. I thought I felt something.
Let me get it.
Sorry. Wow. You numbskull.
Load up, roll the hips, thumbs up.
Knoppenberger out here spitting and hitting me. Here we go. Ready? Get through. Get through. Don't dip your head. You're dipping your head. Don't dip your head. Step. There you go. Bring that left foot in. You feel it? Your left foot was way out there. Bring them closer together. Boom, I step. Okay, you want to come inside? Good. I'm going to sit right here. Okay? Come on. Until I feel him push me off, and now I'm up on the backer. All right? You got to feel him. Don't just let your buddy out to dry. I got time to get to that linebacker. All right? So I don't have to panic and go, oh my God, and take off running. If one of these D linemen get in the backfield on zone, we are in trouble. Help your buddy out.
It's day one. I'm trying to be the good guy. I will be the good guy today. But I'm gonna tell you this. When Saturday comes and it's time to go between the white lines, can a yelling coach go with you? No, right? If you guys want to be as successful as you want to be, all right, when that thing comes to you, let me see it. That thing comes to you, and you have an opportunity to go after this. Can it be on the ground? No. Get mentally focused to understand if this is in the air, it is yours. Take it. Quit being nice, quit being pretty, and quit putting it on the ground. Am I getting my point across? Yes, sir. If this thing is in the air, take it. That's the only way you guys between the white lines are going to do what you say you want to do. You got me? Let's go. Focus up.
You read him. If he goes in, you go out. Here we go. Oh, God. They both that end comes. Holy Lord, that's out the door. We just got to work it so he really sees it because it's just a different feel. I thought he had B gap. That's only you. Shane, look at it. It's odd. It's only you. Derek, you're going. Work it, work it, work it.
Come on, your other left. Your other left.
Hold on. Get out. Snap was terrible, but I'll take the play. Hey, come on. He had to reach way up there. No. Who's number 2? Communication, right? You don't communicate, we're going to get somebody killed back here. Gassers, over and back, red up. You got to play when you're tired. You got to play when you're tired, yes. Ready? Go. Come on, we're not in shape yet.
All right, a little too big a step, right? Okay, even at that point, what would probably happen? Now you're probably on that adjacent lineman, so he's gone. Worst case scenario, okay, shit, I lost him, right? So now I'm gonna steer and rip this guy that's probably coming to him. We'll add that, we'll add the 3-on-1, we'll go to that here soon. Sit! Hut.
Touch it! You gotta play when you are tired. White.
Fight. Touch the line. Pick
it up. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, give me everything you've got, or we'll run forever.
Another thing, hey, when we're getting to our spot right here, we're getting there fast. All right, we're getting there as fast as we can. Understand, you got a receiver out here who's probably a lot faster than you are. All right, and guess what? He's running forward. All right, he's running forward as fast as he can. All right, so you need to be able to drop backwards and match his speed. All right, here we go. Come on, set, hit, get there. Here we go, LB's on 3. 1, 2, 3. LB's.
All right, listen to me. We are going to inside run and protection. All right, this is whiz, which means D-line, O-line. Once you just step into them, you stop. You're not going to win or lose a job during this part with no pads on. We've got to be able to do the fundamental stuff. All right, you're not going to win or lose a job right now. Be smart. Does everybody understand me?
Yes, sir.
If you are not, I will kick you out of the drill. Be smart. We don't need anybody getting hurt and banging a shoulder or anything else. Be smart. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Young guys, when I blow the whistle, you are going there. Older guys, we are going to that field. Are we understand each other?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's fly around, but
let's
be
party,
smart.
baby.
Here we go. 1, 3,
Good.
1. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
One.
Get to where you
Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday with us. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours for fun with friends and family. No matter what time it is, there's always time at the Palace. The Palace is the perfect place to hold your birthday party or corporate employee groups. Call us today to make your reservation. 30 years old and better than new, with millions of dollars in renovations at the highest rated bowling center in Columbus, the Columbus Square Bowling Palace.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going?
I want to go running.
Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my
And
rules.
regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
David Kinder here with Harrison Ralph for Cardinal Kickoff. We hope you're enjoying OTV's broadcast of Otterbein College football. Remember, next week on Cardinal Kickoff, you can watch all the highlights from today's game, and we'll get you caught up on everything you need to know for next Saturday's game with Mount Union.
Make sure you stay with us here on Otterbein TV. Go Cards.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
2 weeks from tonight, November 2nd, versus Capital. Kickoff will be 1:30. Once again, Otterbein would like to extend a special thank you to our official corporate partners, Ralph Honda,
Back at Memorial Stadium, David Kinder, Harrison Ralph coming at you from the press box high above here, where a very surprising first half. Otterbein only trailing 21-10 to the Student Princes of Heidelberg, and Cartel Brooks, amazing first half, over 200 yards rushing. We were talking a little bit about Michael Meese, too, who's a great quarterback in his own right, but his most important job tonight has been to hand the ball off.
Right, I mean, he's only 4 for 13, 4 completions, 13 attempts for Meese. Great job by the secondary of Otterbein, sticking with their men, playing a great zone, and really they're getting hits on Michael Meese. They're getting through the offensive line, and they're putting hits, they're putting pressure, they're knocking down Michael Meese, who has shown that he's one of the top quarterbacks in the OAC, maybe even in Division III football nationwide. So good job by Otterbein. I think they can definitely feed off of that. But Cartel Brooks, David, I mean, he is just running through this Otterbein defense. Defensive coordinator Alan Moore and company are going to have to fix that if they want to come back and win this thing here under the lights.
Well, the main reason it's so close is because time of possession, Harrison. Otterbein had the ball 15 minutes in the first half. Obviously, Heidelberg only 5 minutes. Otterbein controlled most of the time of possession that complete first half, but the main reason for that was Cartel Brooks running for long runs the entire time. But Otterbein has had some long, methodical drives. Even if they don't score, they've had the touchdown, which was a quick one, to Bryce Frenzel, and the field goal, which was a long drive. They still have long drives before they run out and end up punting the ball, which is taking time off the clock, and which is the reason a team that averages 63 points a game only has 21 at halftime.
Well, that's one of the things that I pointed out in the pregame show, is that when you have a high-powered offense like Heidelberg, you want to keep them on the sideline. You want to keep their defense on the field, your offense on the field, because then you limit the opportunities for them to score, to put points on the board. And you look at NFL, you look at Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. What do teams try to do? They try to run the football, control the time of possession, and limit the amount of drives that you give that offense. And that's what Otterbein's doing pretty well tonight, I would say. But yeah, I mean, a few big runs by Cartel Brooks, and you find yourself down 21-10, and then you factor in that final possession of the half by Otterbein. They get no points out of it. They get all the way down to about the 10 to 12 yard line, and they get no points because they had burned through their timeouts earlier in the half. Don't have any more, and they run out of time, come away with 0 points, and now Heidelberg gets the ball to begin the second half. So good first half, but it ended poorly. Not the way you want to end it, obviously. But Otterbein hanging tough, 21-10. With the 12th ranked team in the nation, can't really complain too much about that.
I can't imagine Coach Daup was very happy about how that transpired towards the end of the game there. So Jordan Boniface will put it back up on the tee, and unfortunately Heidelberg's going to get the ball back here, Harrison, as they deferred, and Otterbein got the ball to start the game.
And number 80, Nick DeLisa.
Returning for the Student Princes is Nick DeLisa, who has a 92-yard touchdown return this year. He had that against Capital last week, and he will be the man who fields it at the 10-yard line, brings it across the 20, and he's tripped up at the 25-yard line. So good job of Otterbein to contain him. Tony Foreman, it looks like the man who tripped him up there, who's made a name for himself on special teams this year. So as Harrison said, Michael Meese just 4 of 13 after last year. He had a huge game against the Cannon Cardinal. He completed 18 of 24 passes, 240 yards, and 2 touchdowns in Heidelberg's 21-0 win over Otterbein last year. Not as effective this year, but they really don't need him, and the reason Cartel Brooks in the backfield, he's going to pass. Austin Jones coming in on a blitz, a long throw down the field, and in and out of the hands. He was looking for Cartel Brooks that time, who slipped out of the backfield and was hit hard and dropped that one, so it will bring up second down and 10 yards to go. How about the blitz from Austin Jones that time? Flushed him out of the pocket, made him a little uncomfortable, and caused a little throw that was probably a little quicker than should have been.
Come out 1st and 10. Your back has over 200 yards in the first half. In the first play, you throw it deep across the middle. Not sure.
Brooks is wrapped up and thrown down for a loss. Just the second time we've seen Cartel Brooks tackled for a loss in the backfield. And Otterbein's defense has come out very aggressive here in these first 2 plays.
Pat Coleman, great job fighting through the offensive line, getting into the backfield, and you do all that, and then you have the challenge of tackling Cartel Brooks, and that's what Coleman did right there. Good job. Great play by the senior.
So 3rd down, 11 yards to convert. Meese back to pass. Brett pressuring, thrown, and it is incomplete, in and out of the hands.
Michael Greenwell.
That time, that was Wes McKeever who was pressuring around the end, but it brings up a 4th down despite the fact they can't come up with the interception, and both teams' punt units come out on the field.
Michael Greenwell did a great job diving, getting his body in between the football and the intended receiver. Incomplete pass, and Otterbein, good job defensively coming out in the second half, forcing a 3 and out. And Otterbein will likely get pretty good field position here on their first drive here in half number 2.
Lucas yet to get a punt return in this game on 4 Smith punts. This one, end over end, it will be fielded at the 35-yard line. Connor Lucas brings it across the 40-yard line, and he's tripped up at the 49-yard line, so Otterbein is extremely close to starting their first drive of the second half in Heidelberg territory.
Otterbein will come out, start on the 43. Like I said, good field position and a great opportunity here for Otterbein to come out hot here in half number 2.
And you couldn't have asked for a better start from that defense, Harrison, than what you just saw in that first possession. Quick 3 and out. So Ben Sizemore, 10 of 18 in the first half, 154 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, that touchdown was the long 74-yarder to Bryce Frenzel across the field. Frenzel's only reception in the game. Carpenter, the leading receiver for the Cards, 5 receptions, 45 yards. Drew Irvin, the leading ball carrier at 9 attempts, 37 yards. And here's a screen pass to Derek Rudolph. Rudolph needs to fall into that incomplete pass, rather, not a backwards one. In and out of the hands of his Eastmore back. And second down upcoming for the Cardinals.
Yes, I think Sizemore, and let me know if you agree with this, David. I think he's having the best game of the season. Personally, I think Ben Sizemore is playing the best game he's played all season.
I would agree with that. He hasn't made any mistakes. Obviously, he hasn't thrown an interception all year. But other than that one pass to McCoy, which just barely missed him, he hasn't made any bad throws, really. They've all been on the money. Very effective. I have to agree with that statement.
And he's gotten rid of the ball. He hasn't taken a whole lot of sacks. He's made a lot of good decisions. There's another one right there.
Steve Carpenter, and Carpenter is finally brought down as the ball squirts loose, but they're going to say he was down around the 25-yard line. Otterbein catches a break there as he fakes the give to Derek Rudolph, and he finds Steve Carpenter down the field for a big gain and a first down. The ball squirted loose, but the officials say he was tackled at the 24-yard line.
Well, that's your simple cover 2 coverage zone right there, and Steve Carpenter splits the seam and gets open. And again, Sizemore delivers a perfect ball right on the money. And the Cardinals are inside the 25 of Heidelberg, looking to tack on some points here and cut that lead down to just 4.
Again, Rudolph standing to the left of the Franklin native Ben Sizemore. The give is to Rudolph. Rudolph spinning, and he's brought down very hard after a 3-yard pickup on a snap that went a little to the right of Ben Sizemore, but he's able to corral it in.
Second down and about 8 now for Otterbein.
We see Bryson Ray, the tight end, check back into this one. The tight end, not a position utilized too much by the Otterbein offense.
But in the past, it had been with Gabe Shively, who graduated after last school year. But yeah, this year they've yet to really get the tight end involved in their offense.
Fakes the give to Rudolph. Sizemore throwing off his back foot. And what a catch by Bryson Ray! Oh my goodness! He makes an unbelievable one-handed catch for the touchdown from 22 yards out. We just talked about him not getting the tight end involved in their offense. He made a circus catch with one hand and carries it over the goal line for an Otterbein touchdown.
Congratulations to the 6'3" freshman. 226 pounds, and the freshman comes through. What an incredible catch. I mean, that was great. Kind of batted it to himself and was able to come up with it and then get across the goal line for the touchdown. Great job by the young freshman getting his first collegiate touchdown. Congratulations to him.
Good snap, good hold, and Alana Gaither splits the uprights, and we have ourselves a 21-17 game. Harrison, maybe we should start saying other players don't get involved in the offense too much, because as soon as we said it, the very next play, Bryson Ray with an unbelievable one-handed grab takes it in the end zone. That's just his 6th reception of the year, Harrison.
It was a great job by Bryson Ray, and I think it was a very good job by Ben Sizemore as well. It wasn't a perfectly placed pass, but the pass was placed only where his receiver could get it. Couldn't be picked off. He said, I'm either going to make this completion or it's going to be an incomplete pass. It will not be intercepted. And Bryson Ray was able to come up and make a big play. 21-17 your score now early in quarter number 3.
So congratulations to the Olentangy Liberty graduate, the 6'3", 226-pound freshman, on making his first career college touchdown reception. So Jordan Boniface, the safety, again out there to boot this one deep for the Cardinals. And a very close game, much closer than a lot of people would have thought, as the 12th ranked Student Princes from Tiffin, Ohio, just with a 4-point lead here. Boniface sends it end over end, and it will go out of bounds. The safety kicks it out, and looks like Heidelberg is going to good field position for their second drive after the halftime break. So hopefully, Harrison, we can see a defensive stand out of these Cardinals, much like we did on the last drive. A quick 3-and-out. Otterbein was able to get the ball back, and we've seen a lot of emotions down on that sideline for the Cardinals today. They've been very high and they've been very low as we get the call from the officials here.
Offside against the kicking team. That foul is declined. We have a kick out of bounds. By rule, the ball is placed at the 35-yard line per second.
You don't see very often an offsides on a kickoff, but 2 penalty flags on the play for the Cardinals, who have not been penalized too often in this one.
Well, if you're gonna make a penalty, go ahead and make another one, knowing one of them will offset. That's the mindset, I guess.
So Michael Meese will come back out on the field after a 3-and-out last time he had possession of the ball. There was 2 incomplete passes and a 1-yard loss for Cartel Brooks that turned the ball over on punts for them last time. Meese in the shotgun, ball on the 35-yard line after the illegal procedure, kick out of bounds. Gives to Brooks. They call his number again. Brooks met by the front wall of the defense, but he's able to keep his legs going, and he's able to actually pick up 5 yards on it. Looks like Zach Greaves and Austin Jones combined on the tackle.
Brooks, the ball carrier. Zach Greaves combines on the stop with Patrick Coleman.
12
Hurry up offense, and Heidelberg right back to the line of scrimmage.
12-10 to go. The give to Brooks. Gets past one tackler. He has some room to run. He breaks another tackle, and a great job there by, it looks like it was Compton who made a shoelace tackle there to slow him down. If he wasn't going to break that one for yet another touchdown, he surely would have had a few more yards, but there is a penalty flag on the play. Looks like it might be in the vicinity of holding.
Personal foul. Face mask. 32 against the defense. 15 yards at the end of the run. First down.
You'll hear some groans from the Memorial Stadium faithful here as a face mask is the call. 15 more yards added to the end of the run. And penalties, Harrison, really cost Otterbein the first few games of the year. And they're doing it here again early in the second half.
Austin Jones just got a handful of mask as Cartel Brooks was able to break free, and that adds 15 yards to what was already a big pickup for Heidelberg. Heidelberg now inside the 30-yard line of Otterbein.
Coming with the blitz. The give to Brooks, and he's hit hard, and he is taken down in the backfield. Austin Jones makes up for his face mask call that time, coming on a blitz, and for the second time we've seen Jones tackle Brooks for a loss in the backfield. Great job by the freshman backer.
Yeah, that was a really great job. He got off the block, shed the block of the fullback, and was able to make the tackle in the backfield. Great play by the freshman. He's certainly a promising player for this Otterbein Cardinal football team.
They call Brooks' number again, and he's able to carry it out to about the original line of scrimmage, and that is all. So the clock continues to wind down. Heidelberg clinging to their 4-point lead.
With Tyler Green.
Here in the Rhine River rivalry. Of course, Otterbein, a 3-7-1 all-time lead over Heidelberg since they started playing for the Cup back in 1992, which commemorates the first game of American football played on German soil between these two teams. The Berg will send a man in motion, and it is tipped and nearly intercepted that time.
That was a poorly executed play offensively from Heidelberg. I'm not sure really what they were trying to do. The footwork of Meese was just, I mean, his feet were positioned as if he were going to throw to the right side, but he kind of twisted his body and awkwardly threw it over to the left side. Really nothing there. Not sure what they were looking to do on that play, but whatever it was clearly did not work, and it brings up a 4th and long. And Heidelberg will stay out there, and they're going to try to pick this one up.
Heidelberg 1 of 1 today on 4th down conversions. Meese fading to pass. All day to throw. Still with time to throw. Chucks it towards the end zone. And it is incomplete as the receiver completely gets upended there. And it is a turnover on downs. And Otterbein's offense will come back out on the field. And listen to this Memorial Stadium crowd as they're really getting into this one now.
Jalen Kennedy there to intimidate the receiver coming over the middle. Meese threw a rocket right over the middle. And Jalen Kennedy.
Looks like he's a little shaken up down there. A big hit he put on the receiver to cause that incomplete pass, and he appears to be shaken up, but he does force the incompletion, and Otterbein's offense takes back over as we hear jump around over the PA system now. The cheerleaders come out, and the crowd is starting to get into this one as Otterbein has the ball again after a touchdown pass to Bryson Ray the last time they had it. Made it a 4-point game.
Great opportunity, David, for the Cardinals to march down the football field, make a statement by putting this one into the end zone and taking the lead in the third quarter.
The fake to Rudolph. Sizemore is going to be flushed out of the pocket. And he's just going to throw it into the sidelines. A wise decision by Ben Sizemore that time to get rid of it and avoid the sack.
Carpenter looked to have a step on the defensive back, but Sizemore was rolling, so it certainly would have been a very difficult throw. But Carpenter's been able to find separation from these Heidelberg defenders all night. That's why he's one of the most valuable players to this Otterbein football team.
Derek Rudolph will check out of the game at running back, and Otterbein will come out 2nd down and 10, ball at the 28-yard line. The give to the back as he's running around the left end, has some room to pick up.
Number 27, Reed Hutchinson, the ball carrier.
Reed Hutchinson, the freshman running back from Chillicothe, substituting the game. It's who I thought it was. Had to check my roster, make sure Reed Hutchinson has not made an appearance for the Otterbein Cardinals at running back since week 1 against St. John Fisher Harrison when they used 5 running backs in that game. So Otterbein using a wide variety of backs in this one too. We haven't seen Drew Irvin at all in the second half. They skip over Tyler Hammond, who usually goes into the game before Hutchinson, and turn immediately to the freshman from Chillicothe as Derek Rudolph comes out of the game, and Hutchinson will stay into the game, standing to the right of Ben Sizemore.
Hutchinson, another big back for Otterbein.
Complete to Connor Lucas across the 50-yard line. Lucas has some room to run, and he's finally brought down at the 35-yard line. So Connor Lucas with a pair of very timely receptions in this game, and it moves the chain, and Otterbein is now in Student Prince territory.
1st and 10, Cardinals.
Connor Lucas, another one of those guys that he can be electric at times. He's a punt returner, hasn't really gotten a whole lot of opportunities to return punts this year. There's been a lot of teams kicking away from him, and he hasn't returned all that many punts, but can certainly electrify the crowd and pick up some positive yardage when he has the football in open space, as he did right there. 1st down for the Cardinals.
Reed Hutchinson stays in at running back. The give is to him as he's carrying towards the far sideline, and he is hit hard and knocked down after about a gain of 1 yard line. A shoulder tackle throws him to the ground.
What a hit there by Mitchell Kelly, the senior defensive back, 6'1", 205 pounds, coming full speed from his safety position and laid the lumber on the freshman. Welcome to the OAC, my friend.
Still will be Hutchinson in the backfield with Sizemore. He had 5 carries in the week 1 loss to St. John Fisher. Sizemore quickly looking to throw. He has a complete to Carpenter. Carpenter is able to pick up a few yards before he's met by a pair of Heidelberg defenders.
And it looks like Heidelberg's just playing this the same zone defense every play, and Otterbein is with ease finding these holes, and it doesn't seem like Heidelberg's making a whole lot of adjustments.
3rd down and 3.
Sizemore returning from the sideline after receiving the play from the play caller and head coach Tim Daup.
Tim Daup, of course, trying to get his first
Play
career
clock
win
down to 5
against Heidelberg as well. Down to 1. Sizemore gets it off. He's going to look to pass. He gets away from pressure. Now he's going to chuck it towards the end zone looking for McCoy, and it's out of bounds. So a very unusual chain of events there. And
I would assume.
As Sizemore's flushed out of the pocket, then reverses field position and tries to pass for McCoy in the end zone. As you said, Harrison will bring up a 4th down. You got to imagine that they will go for it this time. And it looks like they are. Coach Daub's giving instruction to Sizemore, and he's going to trot back out on the field.
Connor Lucas replacing the freshman back Hutchinson. Otterbein trying to take advantage of Heidelberg with a late substitution. Heidelberg able to get off the field. 4th down and about 4 here for the Cardinals.
3 of 8 on the year on 4th down conversion. Sizemore looking to throw, and he goes down. He is sacked, and it is a turnover and downs. You can make it 3 of 9 on the year at converting 4th downs. So he is sacked for a loss on the play. Turnover on downs, and another. You just can't have that happen, Harrison.
It's disappointing, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it really isn't. The way that Otterbein's defense is playing, that's not the worst play in the. I mean, obviously you want to pick up some points, but you drove the ball well. You gave your defense some time to rest, and you wore Heidelberg out a little bit. But then again, here comes Cartel Brooks.
Cartel Brooks quickly through that line of scrimmage, and the word we kept using in the first half, Harrison, was shifty. He is able. There was no hole. There was no gap that his offensive line really made. He just went right between the guard and the center, lowers his shoulder pads, and he just puts his head down, and he calmly picks up the 1st down. Clock winding 7:22 in the 3rd quarter. On the counter to Brooks. Greaves missed a tackle. Brooks is still with some room to run as he takes it out to midfield, and he's brought down there.
Jordan Boniface coming up, making the stop after a pickup of about 6. Ball at midfield. Heidelberg driving, looking to move this thing to a 2-possession lead partway through the 3rd quarter.
Meese in the shotgun. Brooks up the middle. Brooks carrying for a 1st down, his 3rd consecutive give of the drive, and he has advanced the ball now down to about the 40-ish yard line.
I mean, it's just 7, 8, 9 yards every time
as we said,
they hand him the football, and then obviously he can hit the home run as well.
And he fumbles the ball on the ground, and Heidelberg lucky to recover that one. He took the handoff from the quarterback, and Austin Jones was in his face immediately, and it looks like there might have been some confusion on the exchange there. That was not Cartel Brooks, by the way. That was his reserve running back into the game.
Recovers the fumble.
Jeff Helms, number 27, has checked into the game and faked the give to Helms, and he's going to throw, and he has it complete for another Heidelberg 1st down to the 25-yard line. So the play action to Helms works very effectively as they find a receiver wide open down the field.
Yeah, that was a great play fake. Good job by Meese going against his body and squaring up his shoulders and making an accurate throw to his tight end. 1st down, Heidelberg at the 25.
Clock winding, 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Helms up the middle, he has the ball. He takes it across the 20-yard line down close to the 15.
There's a big hole right there for Helms as he burst through the first level of defense. Nice pickup of about 7 on the play. 2nd and short.
Still going to go with Helms as the ball carrier from the pistol formation.
Brooks now in the game for Heidelberg.
Again, they'll call Brooks' number as he carries it around left end. Brooks is able to avoid one tackler, and he's gang tackled close to the 1st down sticks. The clock will continue to wind down as he did not get out of bounds. Looks like he has enough for the 1st down from our vantage. The officials are right next to the chains there, and they're going to call for a 1st down. It will move the chains.
Well, yeah, I mean, 1st down, they were right on the 25, and the ball looks to be right at the 15. So 1st down for the Student Princes, and Otterbein trying to hold them to a field goal, keep it to a 1-score game.
Brooks up the middle. Brooks breaks one tackler, and he takes it down to the 4-yard line. And again, every single carry, Harrison, coming into this one, he averaged 9 yards a carry. Every time he touches the ball, he breaks it for at least 5, 6, 7 yards.
Oh, he's just such a dynamic back. He can do so many different things, and he averaged about 12 yards a carry in the 1st half, and he's keeping that up here in the 2nd half. Otterbein needs to find an answer quick.
High snap, give to Brooks. He's able to bounce it towards the outside. He will not get into the end zone, though, as he's met by the front line of the Cardinal defense. And now substitutions in the game for the Student Princes and for the Cardinals as well. They come with their goal line package now. Ball on the 2-yard line, second down, out of the I formation.
Single coverage, one-on-one here on the near side.
That's Christian Dominguez to the near side. The give to Brooks up the middle, and he didn't get it. The Otterbein defense gets great penetration in the backfield, and they tackle Brooks. We'll bring up a third down now.
On the defense for the Cardinals.
Patrick Coleman really is a rock up front for this defense, and great job on the goal line. Just attacking, getting penetration, and ultimately making the tackle, bring up a third down.
So again, from the I formation on third down, Christian Dominguez, again the receiver to the near sideline. They're going to give it to Brooks. Brooks is into the end zone. His fourth rushing touchdown of the game. He has all 4 touchdowns for the Student Princes and increases their lead over the Cardinals to 10 points. He takes it from the 2-yard line. And with that, Harrison, as I mentioned earlier, he ties the school record for most rushing touchdowns in a single contest.
Well, David, it certainly has been the Cartel Brooks show here at Memorial Stadium thus far, as they look to extend their lead to 11, keep it a 2-score game.
Dan Kilger splits the uprights for his 37th extra point of the season. So that drive lasts 11 plays, takes 3 minutes and 55 seconds off the clock, 71 yards. We see a little bit of role reversal there, Harrison. Otterbein, known sort of for the methodical drive so far in this game. However, we see Heidelberg use it that time with a methodical drive, goes in double digits in the play count, and Cartel Brooks left, Cartel Brooks right, and it's working very effectively for them. I don't see why they should mess with that offense.
Right, especially now you have a 2-score lead. Start running, run the football, take time off the clock. That's what I think you'd want to do if you're Heidelberg. Otterbein now, you may have to pick the base up a little bit on offense. You may have to start trying to push the football down the field. I don't think it's quite to that point yet, but you do have to start thinking that the clock may become an issue later on here tonight.
We've seen in the second half a little bit more better protection for Ben Sizemore, too. He's had a little bit more time to be back and pass. They really haven't tried to rush the ball too much. But for Sizemore, he's had a bit more protection in this game.
Yeah, the offensive line has played pretty well, a lot better, I think, than they've played the majority of the season.
Again, a squib kick that's fielded by Bryson Ray, who tries to leap over a tackler, and he gets hit in the air and brought down. Bryson Ray, the tight end who had Otterbein's last touchdown, an amazing circus catch.
I love the effort, but rarely does it work out well when you go airborne.
Especially when you're a tight end.
And typically it just doesn't always go that well. But a nice showing of athleticism there by the freshman who came up with a big touchdown catch just a couple possessions ago for the Cardinals.
So Ben Sizemore threw for 205 yards last week in the win over Muskingum, 244 today. He has topped his season best, nearing his career best as well. That came against Muskingum last year when he came close to the 300-yard
mark. A lot of running room.
Hutchinson has it on a screen pass, and he's able to spin out of one tackler and takes it near midfield. That's a first down for the Cardinals. For them, it is their 14th first down of the game.
Great job by Stephen Carpenter there on the perimeter, picking up the block. Larry Massey, the senior cornerback for Heidelberg, really opened up some room for Hutchinson, who was able to pick up a first down and a little bit more. Otterbein just 1 yard away from reaching midfield, ball at the 49. First and 10, Otterbein.
Otterbein's big fullback, Chester Deaton, who caught a touchdown pass against Bolden Wallace, checks back into the game at the fullback from the I formation. Now they're going to shift into the pistol. Deaton standing to the right of Sizemore. McCoy, the receiver to the near side. Sizemore, he's going to throw it to Drew Irvin. He has some blockers in front of him, and he gets past one tackler, but he is tripped up and tackled near the 50-yard line, where you see he had Chester Deaton in front of him as a convoy, but he couldn't get past that one tackler, Harrison.
Well, you had the big boys there trying to run sideline to sideline with the fullback and then Irvin in there instead of Rudolph. So that play kind of took a while to develop, and I think that's the reason that it only picked up 1 yard. I think, but I think you have to do that though from time to time. It's not just okay. Derek Rudolph's in the game; they're probably going to throw it. You have to mix it up a little bit, and I think that's what the purpose of that play was for, right there from Tim Dow.
The give to Hutchinson, up the middle, no gain that time. On a counter play, faking to the left, Hutchinson carrying to the right. He picks up maybe a yard on that one, and it will bring up a crucial third down for the Cardinals here as they have it in Heidelberg territory.
Yeah, this is a very big down, David. You don't want to give the ball back to Heidelberg, who can really begin to run the clock and use that as an ally. And obviously, Cartel Brooks is the last guy you want to be in possession of the football tonight at Memorial Stadium. He has shown he can cause some real damage to this Otterbein Cardinal defense.
From the spread formation, Ben Sizemore in the shotgun. Back to pass. He has it complete out across the 40-yard line. That is a first down, moving the chain for the Cardinals. Their 16th first down of the game. Quickly, Otterbein looks to get back into this one. Sizemore getting the call from the sideline now.
Between the 40 and about the 15-yard line is where Otterbein seems to have lost their way, I guess you could say, on offense. They've gotten into that area between the Heidelberg 15 and maybe 40-yard line. They've gotten in that general area a few times and have come away with no points. Hopefully, Otterbein can reverse that trend and put some more points on the board, take this back to a one-score game heading into the fourth quarter.
Back from the I formation, fakes the give to Irvin. Sizemore looking to throw under pressure, scrambling. He's going to take off and try to pick it up with his feet. He is unable to, and he is tackled for what looks to be about a 2-yard loss as he goes out of bounds and into the Heidelberg bench, and he comes up limping. Oh no, Harrison, he's stumbling now as he tries to get his way back to the huddle. And that is not a good sign for the Cardinals, as you can see Brick Davis stretching on the sideline a little bit now, and now he goes down.
Officials timeout on the field.
Take you back 1 year to the Heidelberg game, and starting quarterback Aaron Kincaid actually never came back into the game after halftime as he suffered a broken thumb against Heidelberg on the road last season in their what was their first loss of the season. And now the starting quarterback Ben Sizemore, who actually replaced Kincaid against Heidelberg last season, goes down here just before the end of the third quarter, down right at midfield. Trainers tending to what looks to be an ankle for the senior quarterback, and Brick Davis quickly loosens on the sideline here on this cold fall October night.
Now, when he went out of bounds, it looked like he got tackled by the ankle, Harrison, then went into the Heidelberg sideline there, and he came up limping. Not a good sign at all on the year. Brick Davis has played in all 4 games, and now Ben Sizemore is going to get up and walk off the field on his own power, so that's a good sign. Brick Davis on the year has played in 4 games. He is 11 of 22, 135 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions for the junior Brick Davis. And it wasn't that long ago, Harrison, that a lot of people were calling Brick Davis to get the start over Ben Sizemore.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was ever really a thought that came in the mind of the coaches and the players that really know this team best. I think Ben Sizemore definitely gives these guys the best chance to win, but Brick Davis, he has shown the ability to come in and make some plays. We'll see if he can do that here.
The Chillicothe native is throwing for his intended receiver towards the far sideline. That one in the dirt, incomplete, brings up 2nd down and 11.
That wasn't a bad throw. His receiver, Laird, just lost his footing and fell down. That was actually a pretty good throw, I think, by Davis, but his receiver goes down here on the grass, which we heard in the pregame show, the interview with Don Stewart conducted by Jordan Brown. There will be turf at Memorial Stadium here next season, so hopefully the slipping and the sliding will come to an end here at the conclusion of the 2013 season.
Davis from the shotgun, and he's going to go down. He gets sacked. That's been a problem for Brick Davis. When he came into the game against Wilmington, the first 2 plays he played, he went down with an injury. And for the Cardinals, Ben Sizemore is sitting on the bench. Just a little bit ago, he was running back and forth on that sideline. Now a trainer is looking at his ankle as he sits on the bench. It brings up a 4th down, and it will bring us to the end of the third quarter here at Memorial Stadium as Coach Daub looks like he's going to send the punt team on, but with only 6 seconds left, I imagine that will take us to a break.
Jordan Brown is right down there next to Ben Sizemore and the training staff that is testing him out.
At the end of the third quarter of
Great
play.
job by Jordan Brown on the sideline, trying to pick up as much information as she can, and she will relay it to us, and we will relay it to you.
And we will step away here on OTV when we come back. The last quarter of action, Otterbein trailing by 11 points, and they have a quarterback injury. So when we come back, we'll give you all the fourth quarter action here on OTV.
Okay, cheerleaders, take it away.
Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday.
Wilmington 7.
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride.
And regain their lives.
Are you kidding me?
Fight for your mobility. Visit a nation.
Punt from George Keaton.
Back at the Rhine
Down by
River
number 41 of the Cardinals, Tony Foreman.
Heidelberg. Jordan Keaton.
Ball is spotted at the 21-yard line. First and 10, Heidelberg.
Lost their senior quarterback Ben Sizemore with what looked like an ankle injury. So Michael Meese and company will come back out onto the field. They have the ball on the 21-yard line. They're looking to extend their lead over the Cardinals, are the 12th ranked and first team in OAC. The give up the middle. And he has carried close to the first down sticks, has Cartel Brooks.
Yeah, he just does it with so much ease. I mean, he just pops right through the line and past the first down marker. Well, almost past. It's second and about 1 now for Heidelberg.
Again, Brooks up the middle, and looks like Wes McKeever, the backside linebacker, is able to drag him down for a minimal gain there, close to the first down sticks. Looks like he's going to be a yard short that time.
Third down and 1.
Big third down right here for the Cardinals. So you make a stop, get some pretty good field position heading the other way.
So Brooks from the pistol formation. They're going to fake it to him. Meese rolling out. He's going to throw. He has it complete. And across the midfield down to the 40-yard line. He is taken out of bounds. Looks like Ty Compton's the one who shoved him out of bounds. But a first down for the Student Princes, and they are now in Otterbein territory.
That's a big play there. It'll do a lot for Meese and his confidence as we continue on through the fourth quarter under a full moon at Memorial Stadium on a brisk October night here in Westerville, Ohio.
Cartel Brooks takes it up the middle, and then he bounces it to the outside. Alex Cameron tripped him up. Looks like about a 2-yard gain down there, and for the offensive-minded, Ben Sizemore is still limping around on the sidelines there. He is mobile and walking, but with a clear limp in his leg. Meese from the pistol formation. Cartel Brooks takes it to the far sideline. He cuts it back. He has a first down and then a little bit more. Cartel Brooks to the 10, to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Cartel Brooks. His 5th rushing touchdown of the game. And he now holds the school record all by himself for most rushing touchdowns in a single game. He was tied with 4 other Student Princes backs in the illustrious history of Heidelberg football, but he alone now holds that record.
Probably one of the most consistent performances I've seen out of a back at this level of football. I mean, Cartel Brooks, from the first handoff he took, I mean, he had just been picking up yardage seemingly every time he touches the ball, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. I mean, he's just so athletically gifted. I mean, he picks up so much ground in each stride. He's got the long strides, and But then, like we said, he can be extremely shifty and slippery and elusive. And it's just a tough combination to try to defend. And Otterbein has certainly struggled with that thus far.
Well, he mentioned he broke the school's rushing touchdown record in a game. He's not that far off from the record for rushing yards in a game. That currently sits at 301. Jeff Brock back in 1999 did it against Muskingum. Cartel Brooks is sitting at about 250 in this contest. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that there will be another record that falls tonight in the Student Prince's record book.
We have an update from Jordan Brown from the sideline. Ben Sizemore wants back in the game, says he feels pain in his toes and high on his foot. Again, wants back into the game, not sure if he's going to. The trainer was putting pressure on the outside of his right foot. So a right foot, possible ankle injury for Ben Sizemore. Trying to get the coaching staff to let him go back out there and try to finish this thing up, bring the Cardinals back. But we'll see here if he goes back on the field.
Carpenter's going to take that one and tackled instantly at the 20-yard line, and it looks like Ben Sizemore is going to go out on the field, and the senior is going to tolerate the pain, and he's going to go out, and he is going to quarterback the Cardinals for the final 13:03 of this game and try to rally them and get them back into this one.
Yeah, we thank Jordan Brown. Great job reporting down on the sideline as we get the information to you as quickly as possible. Otterbein TV, our broadcast presented by the Columbus Square Bowling Palace. We appreciate their participation. Otterbein looks to come back down 35-17, 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Drew Irvin's going to take it up the middle, and he is tackled after a 4-yard pickup. Tackled below the waist, and that will bring up second down. 12 minutes, 51 seconds left to go on the scoreboard in the south end zone here of Memorial Stadium.
Gain of 5 on the play, second down and 5.
Dave, I said earlier a full moon. I'm not really sure. It's a big moon. I mean, it's a lot. That's what I'm saying. There's so many. There's so many of those.
There's a lot of different types of moons.
I'm not all that sure. I never was very good in science.
Is that a science thing? As
I don't.
We get a screen pass there from Carpenter. He juggles it, but he's able to make the reception. Astrology, it's all.
I guess it's astrology. I think is
it's a type of science.
Type of
math, maybe.
A what?
I'm not sure, Harrison.
Yeah, let's end this conversation. Clearly, we have no understanding.
It's a big moon.
It is.
It's a big moon.
It's either full or very close to. But again, David, it's the amount of the moon that we can see. It's not.
True.
The moon is the same size.
It doesn't change
all
sizes.
The time. It doesn't.
And it's not the same thing as the sun.
No, I don't think that was ever in question. Let's get back to football.
OTV learning a lot.
Yeah, I guess. Don't come to OTV for a science lesson, that's for sure. Jeez.
Ben Sizemore all by himself in the shotgun, looking to throw under pressure. He gets it to Jeremy McCoy. McCoy looks like on that second effort he might have got the first down, Harrison.
And McCoy's been quiet tonight. He's been a big target for Sizemore and this offense. But tonight has been shut out. I believe that's his first catch of the ball game. So first down for the Otterbein Cardinals. And David, we can now see our breath here in the booth. And there is the
there it is. The waxing crescent.
Whatever kind of moon, whatever. The Earth's moon. How about we say that? That's accurate, right?
Sizemore throwing, and a bad one that time as the safeties were creeping up. He was intending for McCoy that time, telegraph that pass very obviously, and the cornerback jumped on it and almost picked it off.
Yeah, that was, it's good that ball was thrown low.
Had he picked that off, there would have been nothing between him and the goal line either. The game from Wilmington, in Muskingum has gone final as long as has the game in Wilmington. Bolden Wallace finished that one 54-7 over the Quakers, got the victory. So this is the only game remaining in the OAC that has not gone final.
Nice 54 unanswered points there for Baldwin Wallace.
Ben Sizemore on a design quarterback keeper. He slides and has the first down. Close to it anyways. Looks like on the slide he might come up a little short. Good to see that.
It's where you begin the slide. It's where they mark the football.
It's good to see he popped up right away after taking a hit, though.
Yeah. So the senior Ben Sizemore showing some toughness here as He's back into the game with that right foot. Probably not at 100%, but giving it all he's got, takes off.
A great leader. He's a tremendous leader. The players often look to him in times of rallying like this when they need, especially in that Baldwin-Wallace game when it was a back-and-forth game all the way. They really rallied behind him and looked towards him, and he was able to be the leader that they needed.
Well, I think it's so impressive that he has not thrown an interception all season. I mean, that is really something that needs to be recognized, and not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. I mean, you don't see that very often, certainly in the OAC, and I mean, Ben Sizemore has been careful with the football. Yes, sometimes he takes a sack instead of, trying to get rid of the football. But overall, I mean, no interceptions, that says a lot, and that's given Otterbein a lot of success as they have not put their defense in too many difficult situations as far as turning the ball over in their own territory.
125 passes this year for Ben Sizemore. None have gone into the opponent's hands.
Very impressive.
Frenzel is going to come in motion, and he'll line up as the wing from the shotgun. Sizemore throwing, complete to Carpenter. Carpenter has the first down on 3rd down and inches. Otterbein converts and will move the chains.
Sizemore's pass complete to number 4, Stephen Carpenter.
As we mentioned, all the OAC scores have gone final. 3 teams, Harrison, in the OAC are ranked in the D3 polls top 25. That's something you don't see too often. The OAC continually proving that it is one of college football's best Division III conferences, as John Carroll, Mount Union, and the team we're currently playing right now all ranked.
Yeah, this OAC is such a strong conference. Really makes for a lot of great competition, as we've seen here tonight on the field. Otterbein's going to have another tough matchup next week, going on the road to play the Mount Union Purple Raiders.
For Heidelberg, gain of 4 on the play. 2nd down and
that game, I think, is at 1 o'clock or 1:30. It's an afternoon start from Alliance. You can listen in to live coverage on 97.5 FM, WOBN, the wild card, or on WOBN.net. The radio guys will have that one covered for us in Alliance, Ohio.
Drew Irvin lowers his head and takes a shot to the dome that time, as he's going east and west and not north and south that time. And he's able to pick up a few yards, and it will bring up a 3rd down. But yeah, things don't get any easier next week, Harrison. You play the 12th ranked team in the nation, and you get to play the number 1 ranked team in the nation, who's won all the national titles you haven't beat since the 1970s in football.
Well, and I mean, they haven't lost to an OAC opponent since the early 90s. So
at least they're in good company.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a tall task, and certainly you want Ben Sizemore healthy for that game.
Throwing, and that one in and out of the hands. Looked like Frenzel might have got fingertips on it, but it definitely was tipped before it got to him.
Again, if that's an accurate pass, that's an interception.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's good that Sizemore airmailed that one a little bit, because, well, it probably wouldn't have ended up right in the arms of the linebacker.
So it will bring up a 4th down and 3, and the offense remains on the field. 9-10, you can pretty much say is the ball game if they don't convert this one here, Harrison. Down 35-17. They're going to come out with 5 wide receivers on the field. Sizemore by himself in the shotgun, and now the student princes are showing blitz by the 2 linebackers. Here they come. Throwing, complete. Steve Carpenter has the first down across the 40-yard line, pushed from behind, and the chains move. So Otterbein picks up the biggest conversion of the game. They needed that one to keep their hopes alive in this one, and they do.
Yeah, Steve Carpenter's done a great job tonight. He's really stepped up. We talked about it in the pregame that he certainly needed to, because he is one of the best playmakers on this offense of Otterbein, and he has come through big. He and Sizemore have really teamed up and done a great job moving this offense up and down the field.
Again, 5 wide receivers on the field. 8 minutes, 45 seconds. The clock continues to tick here in the 4th quarter, Memorial Stadium, with the Rhine River Cup on the line. Sizemore throwing in and out of the hands of Bryce Frenzel. A little bit behind his receiver. Falls to the turf, incomplete.
It wasn't a bad throw, but Ben Sizemore would certainly say he should have made a better throw, but Bryce Frenzel needs to come up with that ball. I think he'd probably be the first one to tell you, Bryce, great guy, a very humble guy, and I'm sure he'd be the first to say, my bad, I should have had that one. Ball was a little bit behind him. We'll see what Sizemore and company can do here on 2nd down and 10 from the 35-yard line.
Otterbein's 2 best receivers are at the near side. Sizemore throwing. It is tipped. It looked like at the line of scrimmage. He was looking for Connor Lucas that time on another short pass. That one would have only picked up about 4 yards had it was completed, but was tipped at the line. And it brings up 3rd down and 10 for the Cardinals.
Looks like Irvin will be coming back in to the game, exiting his wide receiver Connor Lucas.
Drew Irvin, who is the leading rusher for the Cardinals in this one. Of course, had the big game against Baldwin Wallace where he carried for 235, 3rd best in school history. Ace formation, twins receivers to either side. The give to Irvin. Irvin has some room to run. He lowers his shoulder pads and takes it out across the 30-yard line. So on 3rd and long, the Cards call for a delayed handoff, and they're able to pick up some yards, but it still brings up a 4th down.
Well, I mean, I think that the thought here before that 3rd down play was, look, this is 4-down territory. We have 2 downs to pick up 10 yards. So we can go ahead and run, pick up 5 or 6, and make it more of a manageable 4th down play, which is what we have right now with just under 8 minutes left here in regulation.
Drew Irvin checks out of the game, back to a spread formation with 5 wide receivers. McCoy Carpenter, bottom of your screen. Connor Lucas in the slot to the top. Sizemore, good protection, throwing, and there is a flag on the play. It is incomplete. He was looking for Steve Carpenter, but we might have a pass interference on this one here.
It's going to be holding, I believe, against the defense. But, yeah, either way, I think it's going to be an automatic 1st down for Otterbein. We'll continue this drive.
Holding. Defense number 12. 10-yard penalty from the previous shot. Automatic. 1st down.
So the flag is on Larry Mancy, the senior cornerback for the Student Princes. Otterbein takes advantage of their error. They were intending Steve Carpenter that time. They overshot him. I'm not so sure that one would be catchable regardless because it looked like it landed pretty far out of bounds to me.
Let's not tell the rest
then,
huh?
Too loud to him. Irvin comes back into the game, the big fullback standing to the right of Sizemore. Fakes the give to Drew, looking to throw. It is tipped.
And he had Steve Carpenter wide open in the end zone.
He did.
Wide open Steve Carpenter across the middle in the end zone. Sizemore never saw him.
He was looking for his tight end, Bryson Ray. He got tunnel vision into the one receiver, and it was tipped, and Bryson Ray took a shot on that one as well. Carpenter, as you said, was jumping in the end zone because he was wide open, and now he's going to tell his other receivers about how wide open as he was. Now as Connor Lucas and Bryce Frenzel run from the sideline back into the game. Again, the spread formation.
There's so much space in the middle of the field. This Heidelberg defense is almost conceding the middle of the football field for Otterbein, and we've seen that all night.
Under pressure, Sizemore throwing. He has it complete to Connor Lucas. About a 5-yard pickup that time.
Connor Lucas.
We'll bring up a 3rd down here.
Otterbein now in the hurry-up offense, knowing that they need to speed things along here as we tick down to about 7 minutes left here in regulation.
From the shotgun, Sizemore throwing, complete. In and out of the hands of Connor Lucas. He had it wide open. It looks like he would have been close to the 1st down sticks too, so that stops the clock. But it will bring up yet another 4th down. Otterbein 2 for 2 on this drive at converting 4th downs. Got to imagine their luck with that has to run out sometime soon. As Ben Sizemore, who battling through an ankle injury.
Daup's going to go ahead and take a timeout here.
So Coach Tim Daup is going to call a timeout. 7:09 up on the scoreboard. Otterbein facing a 4th down and 5. And Harrison, we've seen Otterbein in a number of different offenses. This play right here has been exclusively, this drive, has been exclusively from the spread formation with the exception of that 3rd down and 10 where they gave it to Drew Irvin. You need 5 yards at least. You'd like to be able to get it into the end zone. What kind of play do you expect to see called here?
Well, I think it's got to be a pass play. You got to pick up 5 yards. Right now we'll take a quick look at the OAC scores. We went over a little bit earlier, but like we said, this right here is the game of the night as all the other games in the OAC were blowouts. 55-3 Mount Union over Capital. Muskingum getting blown out by John Carroll, 41-9. Marietta shutout at Ohio Northern, 45-0. And as we mentioned, Wilmington gave up 54 unanswered points against the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace. That game has just gone final in the last few minutes.
Talk about the bout of bouts it will be when Heidelberg plays Mount Union.
Yeah, that'll be a great game. That really will be.
Let's not forget, John Carroll has only allowed 2 touchdowns the entire year, and Mark Myers is setting the passing world on fire. So when all 3 of those undefeated teams will have to meet up eventually, it will be a bout of all bouts. We have a bout here at Memorial Stadium, and they're going to kick the field goal.
Well, if they make this field goal here, Heidelberg's going to take a timeout. If they hit this field goal here, it makes it a 2-possession game. So yeah, I mean, this probably isn't a bad call. Kind of keeps you in the game. Whereas if you went for it on 4th down and didn't get it, that pretty much seals the deal. But obviously, if you can execute here on the field goal attempt, put it through the uprights, make it a 15-point game.
Well, Harrison
still need 2 touchdowns, and one of the times you'd have to convert a 2-point conversion, but down 3 scores, you certainly do need to put some kind of points on the board.
This one will be a 31-yarder for Alana Gaither. It will be her longest of the year. As we mentioned, she's 2 of 2 on the year, 1 for 1 today. She converted one back on Otterbein's opening drive of the game from about 20 yards out. This one will be a 31-yarder. It'll be her longest of her career for the junior. Nick Ganis usually kicks the longer field goals. This one, as they said, they feel is in Alana's reach.
Well, they're actually. I think they're going to
go for it. Change
now.
Of hearts now after the timeout. So a little indecisive there by Coach Doubt, but they're going to go for it. 4th down and 5. As the defense quickly runs back out onto the field for the Student Princes and tries to get set into formation. So 7:09, 4th down and 5. The ball game on the line, riding on this play for the Cardinals.
Looks like single coverage across the board. We'll see if the linebackers actually come on the blitz or if they drop back in coverage.
Lucas motions into the wing position. Sizemore rolling out, going to throw it to the end zone to McCoy, and it's in and out of his hands. Incomplete. He had the touchdown. Incomplete. Turnover on downs. 7:04 left on the scoreboard.
I think that was actually tipped away by Larry Massey, the senior defensive back of Heidelberg, but tough play right there. McCoy seemed to have a step on the defender, but the veteran defensive back steps in, breaks up the pass. Heidelberg takes over the 14-yard line. Time, a big concern now for the Cardinals. 7 minutes remaining.
Cartel Brooks is going to take it, and he carries before being brought down. How do you feel about the call to go for it there on 4th and 5 instead of kicking the field goal, Harrison?
I mean, that's obviously a question, that we're going to have to ask Tim Daup about later in the week. But it's tough because realistically, you needed 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion to tie the thing up after the field goal with 7 minutes left. Realistically, can you do that? I'm not sure. But it's certainly, now you're still down 3 scores. It's certainly out of reach. So it's kind of pick your poison with that. Obviously, a situation as a team you don't want to be in.
1st and 10 from the 25-yard line.
But Coach Job certainly a little indecisive as he looked like he was going to go for it. Then he called timeout. Then he sent the field goal unit out. Then Heidelberg called timeout. And then come back and again, Otterbein's out there going for it. So indecisiveness and I don't think it was a bad play call, though. McCoy had a step on his man, and he was open in the end zone, but just a great defensive play by the senior back. And Heidelberg takes over and really puts this thing out of reach.
Coming your way, courtesy of your Otterbein Cardinal cheerleaders.
So Cartel Brooks carries it up the middle for a minimal gain, bringing up a 2nd down and 9 yards to go. Cartel Brooks closing in on the school record for rushing yards in a single game. That mark sits currently at 3:01. Brooks in the backfield with Meese. Cartel Brooks right, carrying. Picks up about 3 yards that time before he is met by, looks like Alex Cameron got in on that tackle. And the clock continuing to tick away. So Otterbein facing a war on two fronts now. Not only the points on the scoreboard, but the time on the clock as well, as it ticks under 5 minutes. Third down, 5 yards to convert from the pistol formation. Meese is going to throw, and it is tipped and incomplete.
Jalen Kennedy almost had himself an interception on the far side.
Brings up 4th down for Heidelberg.
4th down, so imagine we'll see the punting units come on, and we will indeed for both teams. Steven Smith, who has punted 5 times in this game now, will go back into punt formation. Connor Lucas will be standing at around the 36-yard line awaiting this one.
For the Cardinals.
Otterbein coming with an all-out block of it. A line drive kick will hit at the 40-yard line and will roll out of bounds. It will take a favorable bounce and roll out at the 29-yard line. So Otterbein, imagine not too many more opportunities to score. You got to put it in the end zone if you want to do the improbable and mount an amazing comeback here against the 12th ranked Student Princes.
Take a look at the cheerleaders and Cardi down on the track, doing a great job braving the cold.
Who's in Cardi this year? Do you know, Harrison?
What do you mean who's in Cardi? Cardi is.
Oh,
Cardi is
right.
Cardi.
Cardi the bird.
Jeez. David, all our young listeners are now asking their parents a very difficult question. Certainly Cardi. I mean, Cardi is Cardi. Who else would be Cardi? I don't even know. I don't even understand the question, Dave.
Sorry, sorry for the confusion, Harrison. But Ben Sizemore completes it. Steve Carpenter there.
Who's in Cardi, huh? What kind of question is that? I mean, I know it's late, Dave, but come on now. Gotta hold it together here for
second down, 4 yards to go. Ben Sizemore by himself in the shotgun. 5 wide receivers on the field. Sizemore back to pass. Feeling the pressure, he's going to throw. He's looking for Connor Lucas, and Lucas did indeed make the catch. I'm not sure how much he gained on it, though. Amazing reception. Is he close to the first down sticks? It looks like he might be a little short. He will be. Will be third down and about 1 yard to go. Same formation for the Cardinals. Ben Sizemore in the shotgun by himself. Clock continues to wind down. 3:42 remaining in the game. Sizemore gets the snap, looking to throw. He has Lucas. Lucas makes the catch and has the first down. So Connor Lucas' role as a wide receiver has greatly improved over the past few games, and he is one of Sizemore's favorite targets now, and he finds him that time to pick up the first down and move the chains for the Cardinals.
Lucas, very creative player, very dynamic player, can move him around the field, and he can succeed in a lot of different positions, playmaking positions. And he's done a great job here tonight, working out of that slot position and just running a quick 5-yard curl route. Sizemore has been able to hit him pretty effectively and consistently throughout the night.
Sizemore throwing for Steve Carpenter, tipped, and that one was close to being Ben Sizemore's first thrown interception of the year, but it's in and out of the hands of the cornerback, off the fingertips of a leaping Steve Carpenter.
Cale Sandridge with the defense for Heidelberg. Second down and 10.
So we'll bring up second down, 10 yards to convert for the Cardinals as Bryce Frenzel makes his way from the sideline. Carpenter and McCoy coming into this one. 6 touchdowns between the two of them receiving. They are the receivers to the near side. As Sizemore from the shotgun throwing to Connor Lucas. Lucas makes the reception, and Lucas carries over the first down chains, and he has another Cardinal first down.
Third catch for Connor Lucas on this drive as it continues into Heidelberg territory. Clock stopped as the chains will reset after the first down. Sizemore back in the shotgun. Again, a lone 5 wide, 3 on the far side, 2 on the near.
Under 3 minutes now as Sizemore looks to throw, and it's caught. And he's close to the first down sticks again. That was, again, Connor Lucas making the reception. So Connor Lucas stepping up in a big way on this drive is the 5'3", 146-pound wide receiver, the sophomore, making his presence known as the slot man for the Cardinals. He had another first down, clock winding under 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play from the spread formation. Sizemore back to pass, 3-step drop, throwing in and out of the hands of his receivers. That time he took a shot And again, he was looking for Lucas again, and the little guy took a shot that time.
Well, they're playing a deep zone, Heidelberg is, and Lucas running all these underneath routes. He's continued to be the open man, and he's made some pretty good catches.
Second down for the Cardinals, as Lucas will remain in the game as the slot receiver to the far side of the screen. Three-step drop, throwing again. Lucas making the reception. It's throwing to number 12. Every time he drops back the pass, he's going to be a little short of the first down, and the clock will continue to wind. But the little sophomore has become his favorite receiver on this drive.
Pass complete to Connor Lucas.
3rd and about 2 right now for the Cardinals from the 26-yard line of the Student Princes.
Same formation we've seen the entire drive. Throwing, Bryce Frenzel has it. He has a first down, trying to avoid a tackler. He has it across the 20-yard line and gang tackled there at around the 19-yard line. It is a first down. The clock will stop at exactly 2 minutes to play as the chains move. Otterbein has 19 yards to go before they are in the end zone.
Only the second catch for Bryce Frenzel. Obviously, the first one, pretty big one, the 74-yard touchdown across the middle. And Frenzel picks up catch number 2 late here in the 4th quarter.
Again, from the spread formation, a design quarterback keeper. Ben Sizemore has it. Ben Sizemore is upended, still on his feet, pushing the pile. He's close to the first down sticks. Looks like he's going to come up about 2 yards short or so. But the first time in this game we've seen a design quarterback run out of the shotgun. Kind of a strange call for a quarterback who's been battling an injury this entire half.
Right, I was just going to say that, David. It's odd with the fact that Sizemore's had a foot injury here tonight. Got a busted wheel, and you're still trying to run him out there. I don't know. I mean, just over a minute left to play, down 3 scores.
Throwing for Connor Lucas. He makes the grab. Nets him a few yards. Will get them a first down. So the clock will stop with exactly 71 seconds to play in this game for the Cardinals. And the clock resumes now, ticking under close to the 60-minute mark. From the shotgun, 5 wide receivers. Ball on.
I'm going to make a prediction here, Dave. I think it's going to Connor Lucas.
That's a wise guess
in
there,
the slot,
Harrison. I don't think
slot,
he has had many receptions on this drive or
in
anything.
the slot on the top of your screen.
Sizemore's going to keep it. He's looking. He throws to Lucas. Lucas has it. He gets past one tackler. He does not get out of bounds, though, and the clock will continue to tick.
Timeout,
Coach
Otterbein.
Staub is going to call one of his 2 remaining timeouts, stopping the clock with 44 seconds left. And Harrison, this one is essentially all but over for the Cardinals, but you like that they're still fighting in this one and still trying to put some points up there to make the score look closer than the game actually was.
Well, I don't know if that's fair to say, Dave. I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job all night moving the football. It's not like they've been they've been spinning their wheels and not getting anywhere tonight. I mean, they've been doing a pretty good job consistently moving the ball up and down the field. They just haven't been able to finish. They have not been able to finish their drives and come away with points. And you look at, a 4th down on their last possession, or 4th and 5 from right about the 20-yard line. Go for it. They don't get it. So you're in the red zone. You come away with no points. Possession right before halftime. You're down inside the 15-yard line. You come away with no points because you used all your timeouts and you run out of time. Try to run the field goal unit on there. Can't do it. Run out of time again. You come away with no points deep inside the opponent's territory. Those kind of possessions, you have to finish to win these games against these good teams that make very few mistakes. You've got to punch the ball in.
I'm going to say if Heidelberg doesn't have Cartel Brooks on offense, Otterbein's winning this game right now. He is their entire offense, and again we will see the officials blow it dead as Sizemore is lining up in the shotgun. Heidelberg is going to take their second timeout of the half, but getting back to the point, if Heidelberg doesn't have Cartel Brooks in this game, and no offense to Helms, he's been a fine back in his limited carries in this game, but if Cartel Brooks is not in this game, I think Otterbein's winning this game right now, not from the sheer statistical standpoint that he has all 5 of their touchdowns, so you can't say he's not playing. They don't have 5 touchdowns, obviously, but he is this offense. We've seen Michael Meese not have a very effective game in this so far. He has not been an effective quarterback, and none of the receivers have stood out and proven themselves. It has been all Cartel Brooks, and you obviously can't just shoo him away and say, well, if he's not there, they win. But that has been the offense, and that has been the reason they have the lead right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's quite nice to have a back like Cartel Brooks. But it really all comes back to, and I talked about it in the pregame, how balanced this offense is. This Student Prince offense, I mean, passing the ball, running the ball. So when you have a night where your quarterback is off, you just turn around and hand the ball off and you still score 35 points. If you have a night where Cartel Brooks is off, not finding a whole lot of running room, you drop back and throw the ball. And Michael Meese will lead you to victory and put 30, 40 points on the board.
Sizemore from the shotgun throwing. He had Connor Lucas wide open, but Sizemore's throwing it off of his back foot. And Connor Lucas a little upset that he couldn't get that one, and he would have had the touchdown right at the goal line. Brings up 3rd down and 4 for the Cardinals. Clock stopped with 40.6 on the scoreboard.
Do we know all these passes are going to Connor Lucas, or is every receiver out there wearing number 12?
I stopped checking the roster. I just assume every pass is going to Connor Lucas on this drive. So Connor Lucas will be the receiver in the slot towards the near sideline. 5 receivers on the field. Heidelberg showing blitz. Ben Sizemore from the shotgun. Low snap on the ground, and Sizemore's diving for it. And if they have it, Sizemore looks to be injured as the clock is still winding down. They probably, it looks like Otterbein still has the football. Coach Stout might want to burn his last time out here if he wants to score a touchdown. It brings up a 4th down here. Coach Stout will not call his timeout, so this could very well be the last play of the game. Sizemore, after taking the shot, and I'm not exactly sure what happened there, Harris.
I don't know. I could tell because you didn't say anything.
It looked like,
yeah, I don't know what, I mean.
The snap didn't go to Ben Sizemore. It looked like they tried to run. I don't know where the snap went because it did not end up in the hands of Ben Sizemore or on the ground. And then the official just points the opposite direction.
I don't think the officials really knew what was going on. Very odd end to this football game.
I can't wait to go back and look and see how that one ended. Last week the game ended when the quarterback lined up under the guard instead of the center for Muskingum.
Good old Muskingum.
Couldn't get the ball off in time, but Michael Meese will take a knee with 7 seconds left, and that will do it from Memorial Stadium as they trot out to midfield. Pat Seaschultz leading the way as a captain of this team. Very aggressive handshakes between these two after a very hard-fought game in which the 12th-ranked Student Princes of Heidelberg come out victorious 35-17 here at Memorial Stadium. We are going to step aside when we come back. Harrison, Ralph, and myself will further analyze tonight's contest, and we'll give you what to look forward to next week with Mount Union. So stay tuned for the postgame coming up after this.
A special Otterbein Cardinal tip of the cap to number 8 of Heidelberg, Cartel Brooks. Mr. Brooks had 39 carries for 300 and...
Still up? Can't sleep? Looking for something to do? Come to a place where the fun never sleeps. Columbus Square Bowling Palace. It's been the premier bowling destination in Central Ohio for 30 years. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours, no matter what time it is. There's always time at the Palace for fun with friends and family. Join the Night Owl regulars at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, where the fun never sleeps.
A member of NCAA Division III, the OAC features outstanding educational programs in a small class setting, while offering competitive athletic opportunities in 23 sports. 10 private colleges and universities form the OAC, the nation's premier small athletic conference. Baldwin Wallace University, Capital University, Heidelberg University, John Carroll University, Marietta College, the University of Mount Union, Muskingum University, Ohio Northern University, Otterbein University, and Wilmington College. The Ohio Athletic Conference, where a proud history meets the promise of tomorrow.
David Kinder here with Harrison Ralph for Cardinal Kickoff. We hope you're enjoying OTV's broadcast of Otterbein College football. Remember, next week on Cardinal Kickoff, you can watch all the highlights from today's game, and we'll get you caught up on everything you need to know for next Saturday's game with Mount Union.
Make sure you stay with us here on Otterbein TV. Go Cards.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and one person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
David Kinder here with Harrison Ralph for Cardinal Kickoff. We hope you're enjoying OTV's broadcast of Otterbein College football. Remember, next week on Cardinal Kickoff, you can watch all the highlights from today's game, and we'll get you caught up on everything you need to know for next Saturday's game with Mount Union.
Make sure you stay with us here on Otterbein TV. Go Cards.
Still up? Can't sleep? Looking for something to do? Come to a place where the fun never sleeps. Columbus Square Bowling Palace. It's been the premier bowling destination in Central Ohio for 30 years. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours, no matter what time it is. There's always time at the Palace for fun with friends and family. Join the Night Owl regulars at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, where the fun never sleeps.
Well, the Rhine River Cup will stay in Tiffin, Ohio for yet another year, as the final score from Memorial Stadium reads Otterbein 17, Cartel Brooks 35. It was a impressive performance out of the junior back for Heidelberg. As we just heard on the PA system, he did indeed set the school single-game rushing record with 37 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Both are Heidelberg school records, so an impressive performance out of him. So the 12th-ranked Student Princes of Heidelberg advanced to 6-0 on the year. Otterbein falls to an even 3-3 on the year, 3-2 in Ohio Athletic Conference play, but it was a valiant effort, Harrison, a game Otterbein wasn't expected to be in at all by most people, and they limited a team that was averaging 62 a game to just 35, and a team that only allowed about 10 a game. Well, they scored 17, and there were a lot more missed opportunities, too.
You never want to look at a loss and say, you know, we played well, you know, but I think you can look at this one and you don't necessarily have to be disappointed. I don't think you should be walking out of the stadium with your head down. I think this was a solid performance. Obviously, there were plays that I think Otterbein left out there on the table. I think there's points they left on the field. But overall, like you said, I think defensively, I think they were outstanding. I thought they were great defensively. Obviously, you got to tackle better. But Cartel Brooks, not to make excuses for the Cardinals' defense and missed tackles here and there, but Cartel Brooks, phenomenal. What can you say? I mean, we've been talking about him all night, deservedly so. I mean, he's shifty. He moves around. You never know which way he's going to go. You think you have him, and you don't. You don't think there's anywhere for him to run, but he somehow creates it. And all of a sudden, you have a guy rushing for 330 yards and 5 touchdowns against you, and you don't even know what hit you. And number 8, Cartel Brooks, is having a special season, and he's continuing it here with his biggest game of the season here at Memorial Stadium against the Otterbein Cardinals.
Well, Coach Daup will have a lot of questions to answer, too, about certain times decision-making. Most notably might be the end of the first half when Ben Sizemore went back to pass on 3rd down, and he was sacked with about 15 seconds left. And instead of Otterbein trying to get up to the line and spiking the ball or getting up to the line, Harrison, and trying to run a play towards the end zone, he decides to try to run the field goal unit out there with Alana Gaither and try to kick a field goal. And they run out of time before they can get the ball snapped. That's one of the questionable decision-making plays. We also saw Otterbein was facing a 4th down close to the goal line there with about 7 minutes left to go in the game, and he sent Alana Gaither out. Then Coach for Heidelberg calls a timeout, and he sends Ben Sizemore back out there, an incomplete pass to Jeremy McCoy in the end zone, turnover on downs. There's going to be a lot of questions to be answered. How do you feel from a coaching standpoint he coached this game, and do you think that those, mainly the 2 points I just made, those 2 plays there were his fault, were were good calls, or what do you think about that?
I think you could certainly look at a few plays here and there and question them. Why'd you decide to do this? Why'd you decide to play it this way? But I don't think it was. I don't think it was a poorly coached. I don't think there were any really poor decisions. I think it was unfortunate that Otterbein had to use all 3 of their timeouts early in the first half, and then we're kind of left out there to dry without any timeouts on that final drive. With started about the 26-yard line, had 2 minutes left, no timeouts. That was a tough situation. It's unfortunate that happened. I don't think there's a whole lot you can really put on Daup, but I think that Otterbein really just got beat by a better team tonight. I don't think Otterbein played poorly. I don't think they coached poorly. I think they got beat by a better team. Did they play better than I thought? They certainly did. I think Otterbein can walk away and build off of this loss. Though it is a loss, I think they can take a lot from it, and I think a lot of the young guys can pick up some confidence moving forward into what will be another very difficult matchup against Mount Union on the road.
Well, you mentioned next Saturday, Otterbein travels to Alliance, Ohio, which, of course, you can listen to that game live on WOBN 97.5. But the task gets no easier, especially from the running back position. Mount Union's running back, Germany Woods, is actually a Heidelberg transfer. He sat out last year. He's a senior now. He missed his junior year because he wanted to play at Mount Union, assuming he wanted to win a ring was the cause for that. But he left.
Which Heidelberg may have something to say about
Heidelberg
that.
Could give Mount Union a run for their money in the OAC standings this year, and that will be an amazing game to watch, and that's coming down the road. But Germany Woods, another explosive back, he's second in the conference in rushing, only to who we saw tonight. So
that's the thing. I'll tell you what, Heidelberg is not missing Woods at all.
No.
I mean, at all. Cartel Brooks has stepped in and done, obviously, a phenomenal job, but they're not missing Woods. But Woods obviously just makes Mount Union that much more stronger. The rich, I guess, get richer. But it's another, like you said, a tough task, especially going on the road. You're going to be playing in front of a packed stadium. Probably the biggest crowd that we'll play in front of all season long there in Alliance, Ohio, where they're very passionate about their Purple Raiders.
I remember a story you telling me last year. I believe it was either your sophomore or freshman year. You went to interview the coach right before the Mount Union game and asked him, what do you have to do differently? And his response was, it's just another game. And I remember you telling me, It's not just another game. They're a team that has won 11 national titles since the early 90s and completely dominated the OAC and revolutionized college football. I mean, you look at Cecil Shorts, Pierre Garçon. They've sent lots of talent to the NFL, even drafted guys. It's not just another game. And you told me it was ridiculous of him to say it's just another game. We're not going to treat it or prepare any differently for it. Tim Daup came in. I think he had a little bit of a different mindset than that. It isn't just another game. What do you think he has to do? What is he telling his players in the weeks leading up to next Saturday's game in Alliance to prepare for it?
Well, I think, and the story you're going back on was the former coach here at Otterbein, Joe Loth. I asked him, how do you approach a team like Mount Union, who I said nicely, I guess you could say, they're a better team. How do you go out and try to beat them, knowing that they're a better team? And he said, we're just going to go out there and play our game. And to me, I thought, well, you're going to get beat. They're a better team. You got to. I mean, I would think you would have to have some kind of strategy. Hey, we're going to take a lot of risks. We're going to go for it. If it's 4th and less than 5, we're going to go for it. Maybe throw in a fake punt, a fake something. Try to But yeah, I think going into this game, assuming Ben Sizemore's healthy, come out with the same game plan you had in the first half here against Heidelberg. I mean, that worked very well, very efficient. They controlled the clock, and they came up with some pretty big stops on defense. I mean, they forced some punts, they forced some 3-and-outs in some very key situations, and I think that's very important, especially when you're going up against yet another offensive force in the Mount Union Purple Raiders.
Well, you mentioned Ben Sizemore, and he did have a very effective game, and he's had a very effective season. Of course, there are a few dropped interceptions. That streak almost came to an end, but the streak now stands at over 130 passes without an INT for him.
That's very impressive,
it's
yeah.
Very impressive. He had better protection today. We saw improve over the course of the game as well.
Right.
He's obviously sacked 4 times last week. There was a drive this week in the game we just watched where he was sacked 3 consecutive times. But the young offensive line improved. He had more time to throw, and he shows when he has a lot of time to throw, he he's a very effective quarterback. He broke his career high tonight for passing yardage in a game, which he set last week against Muskingum. So he's also building week to week, becoming a better passer. And he also showed to his teammates. He went down with an injury that looked pretty severe, was hobbling around. The very next drive, he was out there replacing Brooke Davis. He shows to his teammates he's a leader. He wants to be out on the field, even in a game like this, a cold, frigid night where you could probably just sit on the sidelines and no one would yell at you if you did because of your injury. He went out there with his team losing and tried to rally him back.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a great job, great effort from the senior Ben Sizemore, knowing this is my final game under the lights here at home. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to perform. And, a little foot injury is not going to stop me. And that's what you like to see out of your senior leaders. That's what, the freshman, the sophomore, that's what they aspire to be. And you have to have a leader. You have to have somebody for the young guys to look up to. Ben Sizemore clearly is that guy. But like you said, the offensive line for Otterbein, I think, took a big step. Yeah. A big step against what's a pretty good Heidelberg defense. One of the top in the OIC for sure. But the offensive line came through. They've been hobbled with some injuries here and there. But overall, I think the offensive line, you look at them, they did a great job.
Against Baldwin Wallace, exploded for all those yards. And that's clearly, if you look at the statistics from the year, that is the outlier of the rushing yardage in a game. Today, an average rushing performance. We see all of the two backs. Irvin, he was able to run for effective gains up the middle, but nothing like we saw against Baldwin Wallace. And Rudolph, kind of a quiet day himself. We also saw Reed Hutchinson get some carries at back. What is the difference from that Baldwin Wallace game to the other 5 games they've played this year where they're averaging under 60 rushing yards a game to one where they had 260 rushing yards in a game? What clicked for them then and isn't now?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the defense that they're playing against, obviously. I think there's when you look at teams, when you look at defenses and you break them down, a lot of it has to do with that. Heidelberg has some great players on their defense, obviously, being one of the top teams in Division III football. There's just not a whole lot that you can do against a team that has a lot of guys that can play the run. We saw their safety, their senior, who's their free safety, come up and make a lot of plays in the running game. Made a lot of stops, made a lot of tackles at the line of scrimmage. Not a whole lot of teams have that. At Baldwin Wallace, you talk about Drew Irvin, he had a big game against them. They didn't have a safety that could come play up in the box and make a tackle, make a stop. These guys certainly did, and it showed.
Well, that's going to do it here from Memorial Stadium, Harrison. We'd like to thank everyone for watching our broadcast of Division III football. Remember, the next time you can watch an OTV football broadcast will be 2 Saturdays from now when you can see them take on the Crusaders of Capital. That'll be a doubleheader as well. You can see the volleyball game starting at 11, the football game at 1:30. Next Saturday, if you can't make it up to Alliance to watch your Cardinals, tune in to 97.5 WOBN, and they'll have you all the play-by-play for you. Thanks for watching this broadcast on OTV, brought to you by the Columbus Square Bowling Palace. For Harrison Ralph, I'm David Kinder. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, and go Cards.